over pay and conditions. The action is designed to coincide with the airline's annual general meeting in Hobart. Assaults involving people being stabbed or threatened with a knife appear to be on the rise. David Bruce reports.
In just 24 hours, we've had a number of situations involving knives or similar. 3 youths have been charged over an altercation at the Elizabeth Shopping Centre on Wednesday night, in which an 18-year-old was stabbed with a knife. One of the alleged attackers, just 14 years old. After that, 2 women in their 20s were confronted by a security guard for allegedly stealing items from the same shopping centre. It's understood he was stabbed in the arm. And then yesterday afternoon, a 60-year-old woman was arrested after a 59-year-old man suffered stab wounds to the neck at Newton. There's growing concern at the number of violent incidents featuring knives recently. This on top of patrons at some clubs regularly being searched to see if they're armed, and knives and other weapons turning up at some of our schools and, of course, on the street.
A new survey has found just 38% of educators believe their colleagues are mentally healthy. The Beyond Blue research shows half of teachers have reported an unusually high staff turnover this year, and most say that is having a negative flow-on effects. Beyond Blue's Jerry Sumter says they've identified ways we can turn things around.
Strengthening leadership support available to educators, and that's by first uplifting support for leaders themselves. We need to recognise that education leaders need to look after their own mental health and well-being, as well as their teams around them.
Paracetamol package sizes will be reduced across the country in a bid to combat intentional misuse. The changes come into effect in February, but it isn't anticipated to have as drastic an impact as codeine reforms. University of Sydney's Dr. Rose Cairn says it's an important move.
There was an increasing number of overdoses with paracetamol in the past decade. That was primarily involving young people.
Police Commissioner Grant Stevens is among 4 SA nominees for the 2025 Australian of the Year Award. The other nominees are child protection expert Professor Leah Bromfield, Dr. Sarah Cannard, aerospace engineer, and cancer researcher Dr. Hannah Wardle. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Another opportunity for cricketers around the country to impress today, albeit in the white ball format, with 3 domestic one-days to take place around the country. South Australia will take on Queensland, while the who's who of Aussie cricket is in action at the Junction Oval when Victoria takes on New South Wales. Josh Hazlewood, Steve Smith and Pat Cummins return to the Blues. Mitchell Starc drops out of the squad. Glenn Maxwell is in for the home side. And there's one other game as well, with WA taking on Tasmania. Well, a new batch of legends are being inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Surfer Mick Fanning, Olympic hurdler Sally Pearson and motorsport great Mark Skaife are among those being elevated. Pearson struggling to comprehend her latest achievement.
It's quite surreal really, because I feel like I've only just retired, but it was 5 years ago. I don't feel like I've fully gotten over that experience as being an elite athlete, and here I am now being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's like, how did this happen?
Yeah, great stuff. A couple of games in the NBL overnight, with the South East Melbourne Phoenix continuing their mini revival with an 88-62 point thumping of New Zealand, while Melbourne United edged past Illawarra 92-87. Tonight, the Adelaide 36ers will host Cairns. And plenty of Europa League action on again this morning, with Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham currently locked at 0-0. That's against AZ Alkmaar, while Manchester United has gone 1-0 up against Fenerbahce about half an hour in. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 27, Sunday sunny 25, Monday partly cloudy 23. Currently it's 8. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Talking mechanic to mechanic, one of the toughest parts of our job would have to be tracking down the most reliable four-wheel drive parts. At Terrain Tamer, we have Australia's largest range of four-wheel drive parts, all designed, engineered and tested to outperform the original. Hey, righto guys. Talk to one of Terrain Tamer's army of trained parts interpreters who all speak fluent four-wheel drive, or jump online and have over 60,000 parts at your fingertips, delivered anywhere in Australia. Go to terraintamer.com.
Hey guys, did you know? Oztrack's at the show. We're going to be at the Adelaide Four-Wheel Drive and Adventure Show from October 25th to October 27th. So come down and say hello.
Oztrack! Oztrack! Oztrack Campus! It's no good having a magnificent outdoor area if you don't have something magnificent to sit on, especially if you're entertaining this summer. So take a look at a store called Rosino Outdoor Furniture.
Now, these guys are great because Rosino don't sell boring everyday outdoor furniture. They offer the designer look, but without the price tag. It means you don't have to spend the earth to get the good stuff. That's what Rosino Outdoor Furniture is all about.
Rosino also have an incredible range, including interchangeable modular lounges that can be arranged to fit any space, furniture made from rattan, timber or aluminium, locally made concrete dining tables, egg chairs, rugs, cushions, pots, prints and decor for decorating your area.
So razz up your outdoor living with Rosino Outdoor Furniture. Jump online and take a look at rosinofurniture.com.au or call into their showroom on Ashburn Parade, Torrensville.
When our truck stops in front of your house,
You'll know it's there.
because you'll feel magic in the air.
You'll see the magic with your eyes.
When that junk disappears.
And you'll feel that fresh air freedom.
Throughout your body.
When all that dull junk is gone, all your cool stuff will sparkle.
You'll smile.
You'll dance.
You'll call your friends.
Because you'll want them to see it and feel it too.
When you're ready to unleash the delight,
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
or visit 1800gotjunk.com.au.
Duttons have been easy to do business with for 75 years.
Adelaide wakes up with FIVEAA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on FIVEAA. Always Adelaide. Always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
6:09, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast, the 25th of October. Big morning ahead, looking forward to this. Meat Tray Friday, of course. Michael Packey in Canberra will wrap the last week in federal politics. Queensland state election tomorrow as well. I wonder if Michael's got any thoughts on that. Jade Robran is out on the road for us. We've got the last whack of pageant tickets for this week to give away, so make sure you stay listening for that. Feedback Friday as well. But we have to start with a little apology. If you hear a little whooping noise in the background of the broadcast this morning, or indeed you're watching on the Foodland Supermarts Facebook and YouTube live stream, you think, what's that incessant red flickering? We haven't been overtaken by the Space Odyssey sentient AI, HAL. The fire alarm is going off here. We have a fire truck out the front right now. David Penberthy, good morning to you. Now, I extended the intro because you were off doing a reconnoiter to see if we needed to evacuate.
No, there's no sign of smoke or flames. There's a fire truck in attendance. I think one of the air conditioners just cacked itself, and when I was coming up through the car park, I noticed that it was just making this billowing sound, so something's going on there. But, you know, this is like navigating ships, Will. You and I go down, if the building goes down, we'll be in it. That's the way
right.
it works.
Exactly right. Like we go down with the ship like the captain.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the band playing on the Titanic.
That's right. The band played on. But thanks to our good friends at the CFS, in fact, the fire alarm's just gone off.
There we go.
So I think normal service has been resumed, but it sounded like we'd bought a pet howler monkey, didn't it?
It really did. The other
Where do you get them?
A pet howler monkey or a really loud siren?
I'm pretty sure you can get them in Tijuana.
Yeah, I don't.
You can get everything you want in Tijuana.
I think you've got to
Viagra.
You've got to tick that box.
Rocket launchers
on your arrival
Actually, that's
card.
not quite true. Apparently, there's a Ciudad del Este in Paraguay, best city in the world for contraband.
Right.
On the Brazilian and Argentinian border. 3 borders on the confluence of 2 rivers. But good place to get rocket launchers.
Good to know.
Yeah.
How is your mate?
With Christmas just around the corner.
How is your mate, Hixie?
Hixie. Hard to shake that tag, isn't it, when the only real photo they've got of you is one where you're wearing a blue singlet holding a rocket launcher. His fans struggle.
To be fair, if you had other photos of him, how many are you using if you're writing the this guy a member of a terrorist organisation or not story?
You don't want his school photo from whatever school he went to out in Elizabeth.
His High Achievers Award.
Yeah, that's right. Don't know if you have one of them, though. Hey, it's almost the weekend.
It is almost the weekend. I tell you what, the weather is.
It's the weekend tomorrow.
It's going to be magnificent.
Well, it's the weekend today. Friday's the weekend.
I think mentally it is.
I've always thought Thursday night's the weekend.
I know you have.
And so Sunday night's the most depressing night of the week.
By far.
Yeah, just from about, I don't know, 5 o'clock on, we're just down the... Or even when Kate says, I've got to go down to Big W and get stuff for the school lunches. I was like, that just sounds like normal life, doesn't it?
It is miserable. Today, you know, it's actually pretty cool out there right now. It's 7.7 degrees. I say that because the weekend is not going to be this cool at all at any point. 27 Saturday and 25 on Sunday. Sunny both days. Sort of a nice patch of mid-20s weather coming up as well.
Perfect budgie weather.
You're judging the budgies, aren't you?
Perfect budgie fancying weather. Get along there tomorrow afternoon, 12 till 3 in Campbelltown. I'll be there. It's going to be great fun.
I hope. Is there a chance you might big time our friendly judge from the UK?
No way.
Just say, okay,
he's begun that bloke.
That might be your assessment,
Richard.
But this is my second budgie fest, mate.
What about he's like the managing partner of some major law firm?
Unbelievable.
This is like, you know, someone from Slater and Gordon wouldn't. They wouldn't turn up to judge the budgies. They'd turn up to judge the safety conditions within which the budgies are operating. And then launch a class action on behalf of all the budgies.
He's a great story. I'll tell you what else is a great story. Our Meat Tray Friday supply this morning. Sterling Variety Meats have reopened. They're now in Mount Barker, though. So Shop 6, 239 Wellington Road, Mount Barker, in the Mount Barker South Shopping Centre. Go in and see Chris and Giselle. We spoke with them, if you recall. I think it was the day after their shop burnt down.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was going on for 2 years ago now. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I'll double check exactly when it was.
1 year ago.
It was 1 year ago. It was only 1 year. It feels longer to me. But it was a massive story in Stirling, and obviously the young men accused of arson are going through the courts because it was in the lead up to Halloween, because there was discussion about how flammable the supermarket was on account of having all the Halloween decorations.
15th of October it took place.
Yeah, yeah.
Great to see them. But remember, what struck us about the people was the next day, their concern wasn't the shop or the insurance or anything. It was about their staff.
Yeah.
Because they had so many staff that had started at the butcher, and that had been their whole job and employment, and they had nowhere else logically to go. The Woolworths staff there were at burnt down, got redistributed to other nearby Woolworths, but the butchers went, well, our guys have got nowhere to go. They've got no income. Some of them are casual workers. They're left in the lurch. It was quite touching. So they were delighted to be able to celebrate them and their return on Meat Tray Friday. What a triumphant return, too. You come back and you're on Meat Tray Friday. Sterling Variety Meats. It is a great comeback story. We want your favourite comeback story this morning. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line. Your favourite comeback story. 8223 Any walk of life, any inspiration, whatever it might well be.
My mum provides a good one. I reckon when I was about 7 years old, it's the only time I heard my mum swear as a kid. She had made what's known as a gourmet fruitcake. Have you ever seen a gourmet fruitcake?
Yeah.
Filled with really, really expensive nuts. Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, macadamias, and then real high-end, like dried fruit, but really, really good stuff like pears, peaches, apricots, candied angelica, all of this stuff. And it's like quite a low batter cake. So she's put it in like a circular tin with a hole in the middle to make a ring, baked it, followed the time perfectly, turns it over after it's cooled to get the cake out, tap, 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 tap. She's going, come on, out you come, cake. And then eventually the top half of the cake just goes...
Not broken half, did it?
Falls out from the middle, crumbles, there's stuff everywhere, Mum swears. She's going to kill me if she's listening. Anyway, she goes, I'm doing this cake from scratch with the same ingredients. And she sat there running the Brazil nuts, the macadamias, the hazelnuts under the tap.
Oh, you're kidding.
Cleaned them all up,
Wow.
put them aside, dried them, made the cake from scratch, and it tasted unbelievable.
That's a comeback story.
And it was, because it was too expensive to buy them all again, so the twice cooked gourmet fruitcake. It tasted like a pan fort, like an Italian sort of sweet. It was superb.
Let us know your favourite comeback story, 8223 Sterling Variety Meats reopened, not in Sterling though, but Mount Barker, 239 Wellington Road at Mount Barker. News headlines are next.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Hi, Brady Bitt here from Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda, and it seems you like them too. The free rego and stamp duty offer was so huge, it's back. That's 12 months of rego and stamp duty. Plus, they'll also chuck in $500 worth of accessories. They tell me the red ones are going fast. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Free rego and stamp duty and $500 worth of extras on all new Mazdas. Hurry, and soon. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Just a short drive from the city.
Most new homes are not designed for specialist disability living, which is fine for some homeowners. But if you're living with a disability and want to build a home that complies with the NDIS SDA guidelines, you need Rossdale Home Life. Rossdale Home Life is leading the way in the provision of accessible housing for all South Australians, and our dedicated Home Life team can provide professional advice on the design and construction of your new home or SDA investment property. Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
The Lordman and Pank sale is here. Enjoy 20% off a range of prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses and contact lenses today. Hurry, offer ends October 27. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Book an eye test today. Lordman and Pank. We care for eyes.
Camper Agent RV Supercenter's huge RV yard sale is on this October 25th and 26th. Check out top RV brands like Winnebago, Windsor and Kia, plus X-Tour off-road caravans, Hitchhiker, Adria, Corrimal and Design RV. Save big on new and pre-owned caravans and motorhomes, all in stock and ready to roll. Free parking, free sausage sizzle. Come past and snag a bargain. Camper Agent RV Supercentre, your home on the road. See camperagent.com.au for details.
When your youngest finishes school and pick up and drop off become a distant memory. When the neighbours no longer have loud music to complain about. When you wake up and fall asleep to the sound of silence because the kids have flown the nest. If only it happened sooner. Semi-retirement, disposable income and infinite time to spend it. You're a super consumer. If you run a business that'd like to reach the consumer we call the trifecta, speak to us here at 5AA.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 6, good news, fire crisis averted. There's something rogue sparked on the level above us. We don't know what they do up there. But something happened and something went wrong.
Some chap who looked like Patrick Swayze was just talking to Luce. Explain, that's Patrick Swayze, not from Dirty Dancing. Patrick Swayze from, what was the fire movie he was in?
Backdraft?
Backdraft, yeah, that's the one I was
he in
thinking of.
Backdraft?
Was that him? I don't know.
He was in Point Break. I can't remember.
Point Break. He was in Ghost.
He was in Ghost? Yeah, nothing to do with the fire, but Lucy started really getting into pottery.
That's right. She was out there doing some potting. No,
it's a lovely moment.
Anyway, the fire he spoke to Luce and said everything's all right. So, as you were, people.
Yeah, nobody give everyone calm down.
All right. Please disperse. Nothing to see here.
Edge of your seat excitement at 5AA this morning.
Exactly.
Let's get into the news headlines on the 25th of October. This one was in 5AA News a moment ago. It's quite intriguing. Paracetamol package sizes are going to be reduced around the country in a bid to combat intentional misuse. The changes come into effect in February, but it's not anticipated to have as drastic an impact as the reforms previously that we had for codeine. University of Sydney's Dr. Rose Cairns says it's an important move.
There was an increasing number of overdoses with paracetamol in the past decade. That was primarily involving young people.
So what does it mean, though? Does it mean you're going to be able to go to the supermarket and buy like a pack of...
Bulk packs can't be as big, effectively. Bulk packs sold in pharmacies will be 50% smaller, you can't sell any more than 50.
Right.
In South Australia, New South Wales, Tassie and the ACT.
I wonder if that would affect anyone.
If you want to buy more than that at a time, you have to go see the pharmacist. So it's not that you can't get them, but, you know, if you're in there scratching your arms and look like you don't have a headache, the pharmacist might suggest that you don't buy them.
I don't think that's necessarily an inconvenience for anybody, is it?
It sounds
a sensible idea.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too onerous.
I interviewed a guy years ago at Writers' Week who'd written a book about addiction, and his main addiction was Nurofen, and he was a university academic.
Wow.
And he would drive around town at night, going to different pharmacies, and he'd remember when he'd last been in, because he didn't want to arouse any suspicion. So he had this little notepad, and he kept track of all his movements, and he would stockpile Nurofen.
Wow.
I didn't think you could even take it. I thought, like he admitted this bloke. He said it's amazing that he's alive. It's just a terrible thing. Yeah, it's appalling.
Ray Gunn has lost a bid to trademark her own name. Rachel Gunn had applied for use of her name for commercial purposes, but has been told there's already a company with that name. It's believed she's contacted the owner of the name to see if she can buy it off them. I tried to look at this online. Maybe some of the listeners can help me out. There's heaps of companies called Ray Gunn. So many that I couldn't work out which would be trademarked in Australia. So there's internet services, there's financial services, I think there's one fashion retailer. I couldn't work out which was the one that was likely to be preventing her from using it or profiting on it.
I saw the funniest thing on Facebook. I had it pointed out to me by my wife, but someone has put up a Halloween decoration. I think it's in Melbourne. Of a human skeleton dressed in the Ray Gun breakdancing costume, doing the little hands on the side move, doing the kangaroo, and it's on a verge in Melbourne. It's gone nuts on Twitter, on Facebook,
getting around. Researchers in Melbourne have successfully treated a burns patient with human-like skin that was grown in a laboratory. I think this is front page news on the Herald Sun this morning. This is extraordinary.
Wow.
The world first trial of the result of more than a decade of work on bioengineered skin by the team from the Alfred Hospital and Monash University. So no need for a skin graft. Some sort of
incredible
actual skin-like I don't want to say substance or product. It's skin. It's just not skin grown in the normal way.
If you make synthetic meat,
of course you.
What's the difference?
Well, this is
because we are all,
it's all cells and DNA.
Yeah, totally.
So you presumably at some point you could grow organs in the future.
Well, where does it stop?
Well, that's all good stuff, though. I think.
Yeah, well, if you can grow organs, can you grow multiple organs in a container known as a body?
Well, yeah, we already could do that. We could clone people.
Well, that's true.
Has it happened?
Who would you clone?
Next week's
maybe a cricket opener.
Next week's Metro Friday entry. Yeah.
Is it true that Dave Warner's actually going to be picked?
No.
Someone's texted in saying that he is. Tom from Goodwood. I don't know. I don't think that's true, Tom. He's asked to come back, but I don't think he's. I hope
not.
No, we'll talk to Tommy about that.
Some visa holders have been warned their sensitive data may have been compromised in a cybersecurity incident targeting a contractor of the Home Affairs Department. The Australian reports visa holders using free translating service have been warned that their personal info may have been compromised. Does anyone get particularly scared when there's a data leak anymore? Are we so desensitised to these things now? Hey, but there's not a person listening that hasn't been involved in a data leak, whether they're aware of it or not. I just think they always run in news as though it's going to... people are going to react and people are going to go and change things.
I reckon people who'd been absolutely stitched up by it would be. You know, like if you had spent years trying to convince people that you were who you said you were because someone had hacked into, stolen your tax details or something. I reckon if you'd been really stung by it, and if any of our listeners have, if you've had your life turned upside down by this sort of stuff, let us know. But look, I think that's the thing is when it comes to things like hacking, now if you see a dodgy transaction on your credit card, you think, oh, this is a pain, I'm going to have to change my credit card. But you don't worry about losing money because you know that you won't lose money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Maybe that's why, in part, Australia is the most stressed country in the Asia Pacific. Aussies experiencing stress on average 12 times a week. India came in second. More than half of Aussie workers believe stress adversely impacts their work. That's according to the latest ADP People at Work 2024 report. I wonder how you measure stress across different cultures. If they define it differently, treat it differently, it'd be acceptable to talk about at different levels in different places. It'd be tough to sort of get a baseline on who gets stressed more, I reckon.
Maybe it's just cost of living.
Yeah, but I reckon cost of living's probably a bit of a battle in...
Bangladesh. Yeah. Well, yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
It's all relative, isn't it?
7.6 degrees outside in the city at the moment, heading for a top of 21. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio as we turn our attention to sport, thanks to the excellent people at Control Air, Australia's commercial refrigeration and air conditioning experts. Visit controlairaustralia.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, and a stack of sport happening this weekend too. Starting tonight, we've got the Adelaide 36ers looking for 5 wins in their last 6, so that's a big game. Adelaide United, I was at their little launch yesterday in the city. They've got their season opener tomorrow night, so for all Reds fans, I'm going to be heading to Cooper's Stadium for that match against the Central Coast Mariners, who hopefully are a little bit jaded after playing in China this week. So a big opportunity for the Reds to kickstart their season. There's a bit of confidence about them. I was having a chat to a few of the officials there. Nathan Kuzmina, who's doing a great job as the CEO. And I think the gap has shortened in terms of, we know that Melbourne Victory, Sydney FC are the biggest spending sides. But I think whereas, we would spend perhaps, say, $3 or $4 million a season, roughly, and they used to spend probably double that, the gaps now, they only spend about maybe $1 million more. So I think it's come back in terms of spending. And I think they're pretty pleased with the squad they've put together and the coaching staff. They've got Travis Dodd now on board as well. So looking forward to
start tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about it. I'm the same, Will. So looking forward to that. Tonight, huge game for the Crows women. This is a top 4 defining game. I think it's second against third, North Melbourne and Adelaide. So that's a huge game there too. So there is so much sport. Fill your boots. And then we've got the cricket. The WBBL starts this weekend. The Strikers going for 3 straight titles. So if you want to go to a double header at Adelaide Oval, I heard you mention the weather a little bit earlier.
Start.
Yeah. So we've got
the Strikers normally start a lot later?
Well, the men usually do.
Oh, this is the women's?
Yeah, this is the women's.
Right.
So these are back-to-back games that are happening on Sunday. We've got the Strikers up against the Brisbane Heat and then the Melbourne Renegades, Sydney Sixers, Sunday afternoon. So it's all there for you. So take your pick if you want to get out and watch some sport.
Hey, now, Tom, you don't have any Dave Warner mail. There hasn't been any announcement or decision about letting him back into the side, has there?
Absolutely no chance.
Yeah, that was my mail.
Yeah.
So cool your heels, Tom in Goodwood. Thanks for texting though, mate. But take a deep breath. No Dave Warner.
No. He won't be there.
Just don't have to keep carving the bloke up. But
my
let's
solution.
Look to the future.
What I think they should do, this is just me, a lot of talk about Constas and Renshaw and Harris and Bancroft, and they all failed. What I think they should do is, let's go for the best batters in the country right now happen to be Alex Carey, who is the keeper, so keep him there, and Josh Inglis, who's the man that wants to take Carey's spot. He's made consecutive hundreds. He's dominating. Pick Inglis as a bat, open him. That's what I'd do. Just put him in there. And people would say, oh, bats at 4. I don't care. Just open. He's the one in form.
Just pick your best.
Pick the best player right now. He's the best. He's the best batter in the country right now, outside of Alex Carey. Play both of them. Yeah. Play one as a keeper and put the other one as the opener. That's my solution.
That's a good solution, Rennie.
Yeah.
Probably get howled down, but you got to give it a crack.
Yeah. Well, it makes more sense than the Warner idea.
Absolutely.
Well,
and the other guys
how's
are
the
struggling.
side going to develop?
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Oh no, totally.
Intriguingly, on a morning with a meat tray is your favourite comeback stories. No one suggested David Warner on that text line yet. A lot of sporting ones though. Peter said the Adelaide 500's return. His favourite comeback story.
A good one.
Good on you, Peter. Thank you for that. Right on 6:30, 5AA News Time. We'll be back with more of your Meat Tray Friday entries and Lucy's movie review next.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
21 and partly cloudy today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hydrotherapy at FIVEAA Extra Marion, including underwater treadmill, latest rehab facilities and highly trained physios. PhysioExtra.com.
Hundreds of Qantas workers are walking off the job this morning. Dusty Fitzpatrick reports.
More than 400 engineers will down their tools across Sydney, Brisbane, Hobart and Perth. The workers, who conduct pre-flight safety checks, ground support, planners and flight simulations, will hold 2 sets of 4-hour stoppages. The move is designed to disrupt the airline's AGM, which is happening in Hobart. Qantas says contingency plans have been put in place and it doesn't expect passengers to be affected.
The government wants to rezone a vacant parcel of land in the northern suburbs to pave the way for 300 new homes. The vacant site is situated south of John Rice Avenue at Elizabeth South, between Phillip Highway and Commercial Road, opposite the former Holden factory site. The community is invited to provide feedback to the code amendment, which would see the vacant 12-hectare site rezoned. Should the proposal be approved, housing construction could commence from November 2026. The Albanese government says the ongoing conflict in the Middle East is to blame for high inflation. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers is in Washington for high-level talks on the global economy. In a key speech, Dr. Chalmers claims the outlook is unsettling. He goes on to say an escalation in Mid-East tensions will risk persistent inflation for middle-class households across the world. Dr. Chalmers is trying to paint inflation as a global issue, as the opposition claims government policies have failed to tame CPI, forcing the Reserve Bank to keep interest rates higher than expected. But the Treasurer argues unless there's a ceasefire in the Middle East, no one will escape the economic consequences of the conflict.
Some Pacific leaders are highlighting Australia as a cause of the climate challenge facing the nations as a Commonwealth summit gets underway. Our nation's coal and gas exports have been singled out as areas of concern. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has stressed it is up to countries like Australia to take a leadership role on climate change. The Australian Education Union says current public school funding commitments aren't good enough. The union says the schooling resource standard is being seen as an aspiration rather than a minimum standard. Federal President Karina Haythorpe says teachers have had enough.
This funding debate's been going on now for well over a decade, and yet we've got workforce shortages and escalating workloads and students who need additional help in schools. Time for government to get on with the job of backing public schools.
An Australian company which wowed King Charles and Queen Camilla says they'll ship their products to Buckingham Palace within weeks. Okuna will send smoked Murray cod and caviar to the royal couple after meeting with Executive Chairman Ross Anderson at the barbecue in Parramatta. Mr Anderson says the King was interested in more than just the taste of the fish.
Very interested in the sustainability of our product, and the Okuna Gold caviar, which they looked at was one thing, but Her Majesty Queen Camilla was a big fan of cod, she said.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And time for sports news. Good morning, Tom Redden.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. We'll start with a bit of cricket. Glenn Maxwell says he's excited by a potential test return for Australia's tour of Sri Lanka in January. The all-rounder will play for Victoria today in a star-studded one-day cup clash against a New South Wales side that features Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood and Steve Smith. Maxwell telling Wild World of Sports it would be a dream prospect.
Really at peace with where I'm at and still be almost on the edge of potentially going to Sri Lanka and still have that dream sort of slightly open is really exciting. You know, I'm not sort of stressed about it. I'm not overly anxious about it. I'm just really excited about what potential things could potentially happen at the end of the summer.
And a big game for South Australia as well. They'll take on Queensland in a one-day that's also being played a little bit later this morning. To soccer, Adelaide United's players will have a light run today ahead of tomorrow night's season-opening clash against the Central Coast Mariners. In overseas action, Manchester United has a 1-0 lead against Fenerbahce in the Europa League thanks to a beautifully worked goal.
Mazraoui, the touch off to Xerxes, the set up for Ericsson, and Manchester United lead with a very well taken, a very well made goal inside a quarter of an hour.
Yeah, it was a very nice one. Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. The second half just about to begin. Tottenham, meantime, is currently locked at 0-0 in its match against AZ Alkmaar. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 27, Sunday sunny and 25, then Monday partly cloudy 23. It's currently 8. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7, police and weather coming up this half hour. Jade Robran out on the road for us as well. But first, Lucy's in the studio. Everyone's excited about this one. Movies are better on the big screens at Wallace Cinemas, Mitcham, Mount Barker, Wollongong, and the Piccadilly. Wallace.com.au. Lucy, did you like Vacation?
Tom Wren just called it underwhelming.
Oh,
really?
He said the Christmas one is better.
Oh, I can't split them. I love them both.
You love them both.
Yep.
Interesting. I wouldn't use the term love.
Oh. What term would you use,
I
Lucy?
knew this was going to happen.
So Chevy Chase.
I know why this is. It's because of one scene.
No, you know, if you're referring to the dog scene, which I saw coming up, and I actually fast forwarded through that because I was petrified there was the dog going to be hanging off the back of the car.
No, the dog's already dead.
Yeah, I got that. And then when the aunt died and they strapped her to the roof of the car.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, right, I gave Caddyshack 2
Sounds like-
stars because of Caddyshack, because of Chevy Chase.
Don't remind me.
Oh, you hate Chevy Chase, don't you?
Anyway, let's read what I've actually written about it.
Let's.
The mishaps in the movie along the road trip were stupid enough to be entertaining. They were quite creative, but also drove me insane at how people can be that dumb.
You work with us every day as well. So.
It's a miracle I'm still here, Will. Something's got to pay the bills. No, I like you both. Just as much as I liked the characters in this film, apart from Chevy Chase. I did like, albeit 2 smaller roles, Eugene Levy as the car salesman at the start of the film.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He was great. Instantly, I was like, well, if Eugene Levy's in it, can't be that bad. And then John Candy at the end. I didn't know who John Candy was until this segment. I'm having a real John Candy education.
Got paid an extraordinary amount of money for that. It's a good rabbit hole to go down. They got it because they reshot the ending of the film. Anyway, I'm interrupting your
Yeah,
review.
I feel like you love this so much. You could go on and on about this. Did they actually go on the rides in the theme park and film them on the rides?
Yes, they did. I believe.
And it was called. Someone texted in about this the other day. Is it called Six Flags? Was
it Six Flags?
Yeah, it was a Six Flags.
Yeah, right. I'm not a rides person, so thankfully I didn't have the option to go on the rides there. Yeah, look, I don't really know what to rate it. I found it entertaining, but
Well, at least 4, I'd suggest.
Well, that's certainly not going to happen. You know, while I think about it, here's the scene, and this I actually really did enjoy, was you can just tell in the movie that it gets to a point where Clark Griswold snaps. Now, this is his first snap of the film.
I think you're all in the head. We're 10 hours from the fun park and you want to bail out. Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. It's a quest for fun. I'm going to have fun and you're going to have fun. We're all going to have so much fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our smiles. You'll be whistling Symphony Doodah out of your assholes. I got to be crazy. I'm on a pilgrimage to see a moose. Praise Marty Moose. Holy
Dad, you want to ask her something?
Can I ask you a personal question, Liz? As a young girl, did you go on family driving holidays? Did you get bundled in the car and taken to Sovereign Hill or anything like that?
Yeah, we did do Sovereign Hill. We drove to Canberra, actually. Dad ran over a kangaroo carcass. Car wasn't damaged, but stunk for months. A brand new car, too.
Oh, no.
See, this is why I think the film's got a great relatability.
Absolutely
it gives me all these
relatable.
flashbacks
And
to
the
being a kid.
singing in the car, Mum was always
Swing
trying to get
low,
us to sing.
Sweet chariot.
Look,
come for to carry me home.
The bit where it improved was when he snapped. I thought that was the funniest scene by far. Till
I
they
just
got to
love-
Wally World and it was shut.
Maybe it's a guy thing, but I reckon as a dad, there's like a real sort of I feel an affinity with him because you have moments where you think, I'm just trying to make everything good, and some of the kids aren't into it. And
But he
one's
is
in a bad mood.
He's
and then,
so stubborn. And was not willing to see the error of his ways. So I'm for Chevy Chase, I'm giving him 2.5 stars.
and the film as well, 2.5.
Yeah, well, Chevy
Okay.
Chase can get -10, but the film itself 2.5 stars, which puts
You've
it in
lit
a
up the
realm.
switchboard.
It puts it in a realm with Goodfellas and Gladiator.
Okay. So next week, Fletch and Fletch Lives, I think.
Is that a horror film?
No, they're both Chevy Chase films.
Have I disappointed you, Will?
Fletch is superb. What's that?
Are you sad with that rating?
No, they're your ratings. Every critic has their right to say would think whatever they like.
Every human has their downfall. You really wanted to say?
Not at all. Everyone, not all art is for everyone. And I will argue, it is art. High art.
It is art.
All right. There you go. 2.5 of vacation.
Good on you, Luce. Thank you. Let's take some Metro Friday calls. Great comeback stories we're talking this morning. But given that the subject of our Metro Friday, the supplier, Sterling Variety Meats, themselves burnt down a year and 10 days ago. And here they are today, back trading at Shop 6, 239 Wellington Road, Mount Barker. So, Ian in Two Wells, what's your comeback story?
Morning, fellas. How are you?
Good, thank you, Ian.
I used to play squash, just D4, and we got into the 4 on percentage and made it through to the final. We rocked up, and the team that we're playing, they had won all year, and they saw us rock up, and they said, "Oh, you come to watch, fellas?" We said, "No, we're playing," and we beat them 4-0 in the grand final.
What year was that, mate? Can you remember?
Oh, in the 80s, yeah. A while ago.
Did you ever come up against that Chris Dittmar guy? He was a pretty handy squash player.
We played for Grange Road Squash Club. That was where Chris did all his stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Squash is a good game. Hard game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Ian. Thank you. Let's go to South Brighton. Dave, good morning.
Morning, guys. This is my son's comeback story. We don't normally like to talk about it publicly, but he had an accident about 4 years ago, traumatic brain injury, broken neck, broken spine, was not expected to survive the night. He obviously did survive. He fought on. He's now currently got his driver's license back, motorbike license back, his truck license back. He's on his 3rd surfing trip since. He's currently in South America surfing Peru and Chile.
Wow.
He's working all around Australia when he's back here in Australia. Fully self-sufficient, lives in his bus. So, yeah, mate, it's the comeback story of all time. And
it's incredible.
We had that horrible phone call as parents that no one ever wants to get. So your son's been involved in an accident, and the mad rush to hospital, and it was just a hell of determination on his behalf to get back into it.
Wow.
That's a great comeback story, Dave.
That's amazing, Dave.
That's the best kind. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate that. 8223 000. You can text us too on the Dutton's text line 0480 1395.
Our mate in Goodwood texted in a follow-up text saying he was only joking that if Dave Warner did make the test side, it would be
like a preemptive Metro Friday entry.
The greatest comeback of all time. Brent the Milky sent us some pictures. He's out and about in the Barossa this morning. Looks like a beautiful morning there. But there's all these people hot air ballooning. And he sent pictures through to us saying, how about these photos only in the Barossa? I'm just wondering, have you guys ever done hot air ballooning on a chilly morning? I don't think I'll be brave enough. Wild horses, Brent, no way. Nothing would get me into a hot air balloon.
Yeah, I've got no great desire. Statistically, it's probably a very safe thing to do, but there's just been a couple of bad experiences in recent years that make me think, if I don't have to, I'll probably try and avoid it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure statistically it's very safe. Let's head out on the road and check in with Jade Robran, who's covering big local stories for us. Thanks to our great friends at Dutton's, of course. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, listeners. A lack of housing in our state has dominated headlines this week, but I can reveal this morning that 300 new homes could be on the cards in Adelaide's north. Now, the Malinauskas government this morning is proposing to rezone a vacant parcel of land which is situated opposite the former Holden factory site, so south of John Rice Avenue at Elizabeth South, between Phillip Highway and Commercial Road there. Now, the government says the land could accommodate a whole range if it's used for housing, recreational spaces, community services and also retail uses. It's a big site, 12.1 hectares. The community is invited to provide feedback to the code amendment. That is what they're wanting to do here. So basically, as it stands, it is zoned for employment, but has never been developed for commercial or industrial purposes. So the Malinauskas government basically wants to rezone it so it can build these 300 homes, which would see it rezoned to master planned neighbourhood. Now, if it gets the tick of approval, it is anticipated housing construction could start in November 2026. Now, the government wants the community's feedback on the proposal and the draft concept plan, which is there to have a look at, and how the land could be rezoned to support a new residential community. Consultation is open until 5 p.m. Monday, the 2nd of December. You can jump onto yoursay.gov.au. All the details are there. Guys, I say a roof over more heads in any shape or form is great news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as Jade was talking, it made me think of something Jacinta Allen said in the last 48 hours, the Premier of Victoria, who wants Melbourne to become the townhouse capital of Australia, saying what they're going to do there is they've relaxed subdivision laws significantly. Well, this is their planning reform. So it would be from 60 days to just 10, and largely making it that anyone can subdivide. So making it significantly more easy. Now, as you could you imagine the uproar here if the state government announced that? And there's been a similar uproar there.
Well, I have loved watching. I didn't know the Victorian Liberal Party stood for anything, but I tell you what, the prospect of 20-storey apartment towers in Brighton and Toorak has got them up and about. But what I find hilarious is you've got the situation where you've got Teal MPs representing these areas now, and the Teals are out there going, Australia has to be more compassionate to asylum seekers. We have to take a greater influx of people from war-torn parts of the world. We have to open our hearts. And also running what I actually agree with, economic arguments about we can't grow the economy, we can't fill jobs in aged care and whatever, unless we do have a significant immigration program. However, when the proposal to put 20-storey townhouses in their suburb has become apparent, now it's, look, the amenity, the feel, the character of the area, this just doesn't work.
They want to bring people in but not live anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Seems to be the official policy.
And also they don't want more housing in their area because they like the feel of it. They like the shorter queue when they go to buy organic sourdough bread on a Saturday morning in their, broadsheet Melbourne Age, the world's least interesting newspaper. But you got to carry one around because it's like a mating ritual for the middle class. Shows you've been to university. But I digress. Gee, what a bunch of spooner frauds they are. Yes, it did. Spooner idiots.
Notable population story yesterday out of the West, as about, I think, 5:30 in the morning yesterday, Western Australia crossed 3 million people. They reached 2 million people in 2005, so it's taken less than 20 years for there to be a 50% increase in the population of Western Australia.
No one in the rest of the country's ever met any of them.
That's right.
It's just like Western Australia's this. Is it even real?
Yeah, fair. Well, it's real. It's real popular.
Floating around over there.
And really
somewhere.
rich, turns out
that's
too.
True.
All right, let's check traffic. Keyser Physiotherapy, rehabilitation and strength training. Build strength with precision at Keyser Nord.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads looking really good for Friday, which is a nice way to wrap up the week. Accident breakdown free. Simply works to look out for. You find them at Wingfield today, the Salisbury Harbour with the Wingfield ramp. New bitumen went down last night, South Road at Clovelly Park, just near Audi there. So a bit sluggish there this morning. And also works and the freeway, Crafers West, just near the Meadows ramp. Speeds at 40, always pretty slow through there. Early morning cameras, Upper Sturt Road, Upper Sturt and River Road at Hardorf today. The Wake Up with Snooze sale is on now. Save up to 50% off selected mattresses and up to 40% off selected bed frames. Hurry, sale ends Sunday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
TJM 4x4 will be at the National 4x4 show this week at the Adelaide Showground with 20% off everything TJM. Bull bars, suspensions, snorkels, the lot. There'll be huge savings on GVM upgrades including Lovells, Tough Dog and TJM. Plus discounts on the entire range of driving lights, light bars and work lights. Save on fridges, long range tanks, clear view towing mirrors, roof racks and so much more. This Friday, Saturday and Sunday, Wavell Pavilion, Stand W8.
Look at your hands. 5 digits, 14 joints, 27 bones, multiple tendons and nerves, but a lot can go wrong. If you're experiencing hand pain, it can drastically affect your lifestyle. If it's happening to you, get in touch with GRIP, a specialised hand and wrist practice with a team of highly qualified hand surgeons and therapists. From therapy to surgery, GRIP can help you get to the source of the pain and provide a solution. Visit gripsurgery.com.au.
The BJ in BJ Energy stands for Benjamin Jack. He's the director, and the energy, well, that simply stands for savings.
BJ Energy are far more than solar and battery specialists. They optimise everything to do with solar, squeezing every bit of energy out of the sun to help you take control over your energy bills.
Yeah, because BJ Energy are fully qualified electricians. They can help you with all things home energy, including solar repairs and maintenance, EV chargers, lighting, switchboard upgrades, heat pump systems and more.
Something they don't do is sell solar solutions with cheap parts. Everything the team do at BJ Energy is quality driven, and that's why they choose to use trusted brands like Solar Edge.
For a free, no obligation quote, visit bjenergy.com.au. Package deals and payment plans are also available. Jump online when you can take a look. That's bjenergy.com.au.
The Lordman and Pank sale is here. Enjoy 20% off a range of prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses and contact lenses today. Hurry, offer ends October 27. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Book an eye test today. Lordman and Pank. We care for eyes.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 to 7, comeback stories for the meat tray this morning. Our Meat Tray Friday participant butcher themselves, great comeback story. The Sterling Variety Meats reopening at Wellington Road, Mount Barker this morning. We'll get to some more of your comeback stories shortly, but we're going to be talking with the great people from the butcher in just a few minutes' time. Let's talk about the weather. Speaking of great, because it is going to be superb over the next week. Simon Timpke has the details. Simon, the weekend looks just superb.
Hello there, Will. Hello, David. Yes, look, we've got a bit of cloud developing on Saturday, but ahead of that, plenty of sunshine around today. Light winds today, expecting a maximum of 21. A bit warmer over the weekend, 27 for Saturday, with some cloud around, as I said. Maybe just a slight chance of a shower late afternoon and evening, but wouldn't expect any significant totals. Sunny on the way for Sunday, a tiny bit cooler, 25 degrees. Then through next week, dry conditions, bit of cloud around at times, but some sunshine to maximum temperatures mid-20s right through Monday to Thursday and staying dry.
Good stuff. Simon, have a great weekend, mate. Thank you.
All right, let's head to Safe Pole. Senior Constable David Backus joins us. David, there's been a robbery at a service station at Marion last night. What happened?
Yeah, so this was about 10:15 p.m. last night. Police were called to a Marion Road service station, and two teenagers, a boy and a girl, have entered the store and started filling bags with groceries. Staff members approached the boy, and he's produced a knife threatening the staff member, and then the two users then ran away from the store, last seen heading south towards Finnis Street. So the boy's described as Caucasian. He's about 180 centimetres tall with a slim build. He was wearing white shoes and black clothing with a cap. The girl's described as being Caucasian appearance with a slim build and short dyed red hair and wearing a black feeler jumper. So anyone that has information on that, if they could please contact Crime Stoppers, 1800 333 000.
Dave, also a drink driver's been caught at Murray Bridge this morning.
Yeah, another drink driver risking lives on the road. So about 1:40am this morning, a Murray Bridge patrol stopped a Holden Commodore on Adelaide Road at Murray Bridge, and that driver's he's a 41-year-old man from Mannum. He submitted to a breath test and he's returned a positive result of 0.190, so nearly 4 times the legal limit. And when the patrol's done checks on him, it's revealed he's never held a licence. So he's been reported for drink driving, and he won't be able to obtain a licence for another 12 months at least. So yeah, concerning.
It certainly is. Good on you, Dave. Dave Backus there from Sapole. Thank you.
It's 5 minutes to 7, and as we've been talking about all this morning, because it's Meat Tray Friday, we love to celebrate and spotlight butchers for Meat Tray Friday. Well, there's one whose story we've been particularly taken by. It's because on this day, a year and 10 days ago, we spoke with Giselle Fitzner, who had received the heartbreaking news that Sterling Variety Meats had burnt down as part of the Woolworths fire that took place in the hills. Well, the great news is this morning that they are supporting Meat Tray Friday, and they can do that because they're back and open at Shop 6239 Wellington Road, Mount Barker now. It's so nice to be able to speak to you, Giselle, under much happier circumstances. Good morning to you.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good, thanks, Giselle. Thanks so much for joining us for Meat Tray Friday. When we last spoke to you, your head must have been spinning. It must have just been a pretty crazy 12 months for you and your team.
Yeah, it was a pretty surreal feeling right at the start because we just had no idea what was going to happen. And, and so, 12 months has passed and we've just opened our shop up here in Mount Barker.
So what were you doing in the interim? Like, you couldn't trade at all for quite a while,
No.
I guess.
No, we literally couldn't trade. And a lot of people were suggesting, like, let's do a pop-up store, but we can't do things like that without, because the QA associated with food is quite high level. So we can't just couldn't just pop up here and there. And then we actually had no equipment to do anything. So, so there was really no option but to either walk away or try again, and Chris and I decided let's keep going.
Yeah, good on you.
We're glad you did. Remember the morning after we spoke to you, your concern was entirely about your staff and you're worried about them and where they'd go and what they'd do, and that was particularly touching. Did you manage to keep most of your staff? Have you lost a few in the transition process?
We've been able to keep most of our staff, so all of the staff that were over in Stirling are now here at Mount Barker store. So that was just amazing that we could literally walk into our brand new shop with all the staff knowing what to do, and we didn't have to worry about training, and they have been able to help us in the lead up to the shop opening. It's been really good.
How long a conversation did you have about still being called Stirling Variety Meats, even though you've moved to Mount Barker?
Oh, yeah, lots. Because it's our, we wanted to maintain the name because it was something that we had sort of created a bit of a brand, I guess, with it. And, Chris and I have been doing it for 20 years. In the next couple of months we'll click over 20 years. So we wanted to keep that name so people knew who we were.
Do you long-term dream of moving back to Stirling one day, Giselle? Is that the plan eventually?
Yeah, we do. We're not really too sure as yet what is happening with the site. We have heard a few rumours, but nothing from the actual developers. Look, once they start generating some plans and all that sort of stuff, then we'll look into it for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Giselle, and congratulations on being back up and running. What street are you in Mount Barker, Stirling Variety Meats?
Yeah, we're on Wellington Road, so just past the Mount Barker Hospital.
Oh, yep.
There's a new complex up there, so that's part of the Woolworths store. If you just head towards the hospital and just keep going a couple hundred metres, you'll see the complex.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Good on you, Giselle. Thank you.
What a lovely comeback story.
Yeah,
a
good on
business
them.
they did nothing wrong.
Perseverance.
Burnt down, and a year later they're back at it again. It's just a terrific story.
Is it ever?
5AA News is coming up. We'll get our wrap of the morning stories coming up in just a moment. Also, we're off to Canberra. We'll be chatting with Michael Packy after 7:30. Some more from Jade Robran and a fantastic, I think, uplifting Breaking at 8 this morning. That's coming up, so stick around.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Talking mechanic to mechanic, one of the toughest parts of our job would have to be tracking down the most reliable four-wheel drive parts. At Terrain Tamer, we have Australia's largest range of four-wheel drive parts, all designed, engineered and tested to outperform the original. Hey, righto guys. Talk to one of Terrain Tamer's army of trained parts interpreters who all speak fluent four-wheel drive, or jump online and have over 60,000 parts at your fingertips, delivered anywhere in Australia. Go to terraintamer.com.
Hi, Brett Ebert here from Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Qantas says it's not expecting industrial action from engineers to translate into delays for customers. More than 400 engineers are stopping work today as part of an ongoing fight over pay and conditions. The action is designed to coincide with the airline's annual general meeting in Hobart. Assaults involving people being stabbed or threatened with a knife appears to be on the rise. David Bruce reports.
In just 24 hours, we've had a number of situations involving knives or similar. 3 youths have been charged over an altercation at the Elizabeth Shopping Centre on Wednesday night, in which an 18-year-old was stabbed with a knife. One of the alleged attackers, just 14 years old. After that, 2 women in their 20s were confronted by a security guard for allegedly stealing items from the same shopping centre. It's understood he was stabbed in the arm. And then yesterday afternoon, a 60-year-old woman was arrested after a 59-year-old man suffered stab wounds to the neck at Newton. There's growing concern at the number of violent incidents featuring knives recently. This on top of patrons at some clubs regularly being searched to see if they're armed, and knives and other weapons turning up at some of our schools and, of course, on the street.
The Albanese government believes the Middle East conflict will put further pressure on petrol prices and keep inflation higher for longer. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers is in Washington for key meetings with global finance leaders. In a major speech, he calls for a ceasefire and de-escalation of the conflict in the Middle East. While the crisis has had a humanitarian impact, Dr. Chalmers says we can't ignore the economic cost. He believes ongoing tension will risk persistent inflation for middle-class households across the world, arguing upward pressure on oil prices could threaten a soft landing for many countries. Dr. Chalmers' comments come as he tries to shift inflation as a global problem, not just an issue in Australia.
A new survey has found just 38% of educators believe their colleagues are mentally healthy. The Beyond Blue research shows issues. Half of teachers have reported an unusually high staff turnover this year, and most say that is having negative flow-on effects. Beyond Blue's Jerry Sumter says they've identified ways we can turn things around.
Strengthening leadership support available to educators, and that's by first uplifting support for leaders themselves. We need to recognise that education leaders need to look after their own mental health and well-being, as well as their teams around them.
In a world-first, human-like skin that was grown in a Melbourne lab has been successfully used to treat a burns patient in Australia. The Alfred Hospital and Monash University have spent 10 years on the bioengineered skin. Paracetamol package sizes will be reduced across the country in a bid to combat intentional misuse. The changes come into effect in February, but it isn't anticipated to have as drastic an impact as codeine reforms. University of Sydney's Dr. Rose Cairn says it's an important move.
There was an increasing number of overdoses with paracetamol in the past decade. That was primarily involving young people.
Police Commissioner Grant Stevens is among 4 SA nominees for the 2025 Australian of the Year award. The other nominees are child protection expert Professor Leah Bromfield, Dr. Sarah Cannard, aerospace engineer, and cancer researcher Dr. Hannah Wardle. And now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Tom Wren, lots of sport happening.
There's so much, isn't there, Graham? It's fantastic, and it all starts today. There's plenty of chances for players to impress in the cricket around the country with 3 one-dayers. SA will tackle Queensland at Allan Border Field in Brisbane, hoping to continue their great start to the season. Socceroos veteran Matt Leckie admits he's yet to speak with new coach Tony Popovich, but hasn't given up hope of a recall to the national team. The 33-year-old forward could make his long-awaited return from injury for City in Saturday's Melbourne derby against the Victory. Meantime, in overseas action, Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham lead AZ Alkmaar in their Europa League clash this morning. It's 1-0 with about 15 minutes to play. Spurs taking the lead early in the second half thanks to a penalty.
Richarlison! A frustrating season for the Brazilian. Explodes into life from the penalty spot.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Manchester United, meantime, is now locked at 1-1 in its battle against Fenerbahce. The Adelaide 36ers will look to cement their spot in the top 6 when they take on the Cairns Taipans tonight. The Sixers are currently in 5th spot with a 4-3 record. Last night was a good one for the two Melbourne teams in the NBL. South East Melbourne smashing New Zealand by 26 points on the road, while Melbourne United got over Illawarra by 5 points. And in some golf to finish, the second round of the Australasian PGA tournament here at Wollonga is about to resume. New South Welshman Christopher Fan is the man to catch after the opening round, shooting a stunning 7-under round of 63 to hold a 2-shot lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Smooth sailing so far. Touch wood for the run into work today. We're accident breakdown free. Do have works to look out for at Glandor, Anzac Highway and Grosvenor Street. Sluggish at Mile End at the moment. South Road near St Donald Rabbit Drive, and speeds reduced for works at Salisbury Downs this morning. Kings Road near Andrew Smith Drive. You find cameras Upper Sturt Road, Upper Sturt and Hawthorne Road at Mount Barker today. With vehicle pickup and delivery, loan vehicles next day service. Book your next service at Glenog BMW today. Experience excellence at Glenog BMW. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy and 21 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 27. Sunday sunny 25 and Monday partly cloudy 23. Currently it's just 8. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Stay comfortable all year round with a $399 Actron air conditioner from Mac Trade Services. Thanks to the SA Government REPS rebates, if you're a concession card holder or a renter, you can get an Actron Air reverse cycle air conditioner supplied and installed from just $399. That's nearly 80% off the normal price. Hurry, this deal won't last long. Terms and conditions apply. Visit us at our Rose Park office or find out more at mactradeservices.com.au.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. If you are joining us for the very first time, the 25th of October, the sun over the hills, light outside, cool outside, but a spectacular sort of a morning all the same. As we speak right now, it is 8.5 degrees. As you've just heard in 5AA News, 21 and a magnificent weekend on the way. Big next hour on the program, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I encourage you to stick around for Breaking at 8 in 60 minutes' time, because I think it'll be
an excellent Breaking at 8.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
We say that not the sort of shocking, horrible Breaking at 8.
No, this is a good one.
This is a good news story.
Hey, just quickly, thanks to the people who are texting in about the column I did about Cyril Twos in the Tiser this morning. There's one text I want to read out because it's really important. It's from Josh. And Cyril Twos, obviously, is the chap who was Breaking at 8 on Monday. The poor old guy, 86-year-old, who's currently in hospital waiting to get a My Aged Care home package, and has decided after waiting since January that he has no quality of life, no dignity, and he's halfway through the process of euthanasia under the VAD laws. Josh writes this: "Hey guys, Dave, your article in the Tiser was spot on. My family can relate to it so much. My dad passed away 2 weeks ago from MND after a 20-month battle, all through the aged care system. Although the aged care system wouldn't have saved his life, it could have made it more comfortable. The wait for some sort of assistance was ridiculous. Dad only got approval in June for level 3. Unfortunately, from when he was assessed to getting approval, he deteriorated quite a lot. To then get to level 4 was going to be another extensive wait, and in the meantime, Dad sadly passed away. Mum and Dad's carer for the whole time. Mum was Dad's carer for the whole time. and we cannot thank her enough for the assistance she gave Dad right up until Dad passed away. There's so many stories like that. It's terrible.
Absolutely. Let's get into the morning wrap of the news. Some things going on around the country and indeed around Adelaide today, starting with a Qantas strike that's taking place. Hundreds of Qantas engineers are stepping up industrial action across all major Australian airports today. The Qantas AGM is about to happen, so that's why they've highlighted today and this time 600 line maintenance engineers, the people that are responsible for towing and marshalling aircraft, the people that do the final safety checks before the plane takes off. They're going to down tools for 2 4-hour stoppages across Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, Hobart and Adelaide.
Didn't they get offered 26%?
Well, I'll get to that. So the union, this is where it's interesting, where we can't be definitive about what delays there'll be, if any, because the unions say this is going to cause delays. Qantas say we've got ways of mitigating there being any delays. So you're just going to have to wait and see today whether it affects you. There'll be 2 tranches of work stoppages. One of those will be underway. Is underway now from 6 o'clock in the morning. Then there's evening stoppages that take place essentially between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. So there's 2 tranches. Now, here's the nitty-gritty of the negotiation at the moment, according to the union. So the union say they have put forward a wage claim of 5% per year with a 15% first-year increase, right, to compensate for 3.5 years of wage freezes, and the rest of it is in line with what they say the rest of the industry's got. So that's their position.
They're saying it's a catch-up pay rise.
Qantas have made one offer and they haven't improved it. They've said 3% per year over that period of time. So when you tally it all up, you get to some pretty big numbers. But this is a bit where I think a lot of unions and probably individual employees probably did this as well over the course of the pandemic, got understanding and went, we kind of get it. There's no extra money around. We're going to have to deal with it. But this is pay the piper time.
Yeah, totally.
The state governments have had to deal with this as well in labour agreements with various workforces. But I think...
Well, a lot of people got pay cards.
Absolutely.
Heaps of them did.
And now it's sort of everyone saying, okay...
And that money didn't come back.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a gulf of understanding between employers and employees about whether that would be made up in the future or not.
Yeah, but you just sort of shrugged your shoulders and went, well, crikey, I'm lucky to have a job at all.
Yeah, exactly. We've heard from the teenager who was stabbed at the Elizabeth Shopping Centre. He spoke to 7 News last night. Of course, had a blood transfusion in hospital and spoke a little bit about the attack that got him there.
I was not there to hurt anyone. I picked that knife up to defend myself. I mean, if I didn't pick that knife up, who knows what would have happened. I managed to disarm him and kick the first knife out of his hand. And when I fell back, I went to go lunge and grab the knife that I knocked out of his hand. And I see him reaching behind his back, and that's when he unsheathed the second knife.
So that's Ned, the victim. So
it's important to stress too. So he says, and there was some conjecture about this yesterday, and we were, as were other people, witnesses under the impression that the victim had a knife. Well, he didn't have a knife when he got there. He says he was just at the shops, being at the shops, unarmed, and he managed to get the second knife off the assailant, or one of the assailant's compadres.
Lots of calls. Interesting how many calls we've had on the Duttons text line this morning for some sort of crackdown on knife crime, or for the state government to act and up penalties or some such, with a couple of incidents. A few Duttons texts have been coming through suggesting that today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get the logic or the efficacy of a tough on knives, tough on the causes of knives type campaign, because you can't do it. You buy knives at the IGA, you buy knives at Bunnings, you buy knives at Mitre 10, you buy knives at gardening stores.
Yeah, these look like kitchen
at
knives.
Wheel and Barrow.
Yeah.
You can probably get them at some service stations. There's probably big on the runs. There's you're not going to stop the prevalence of knives in the community. What you need is to make it clear that if you stab someone and you're over the age of, 14 or whatever, maybe even 13, you definitely spend some time in juvenile detention. But if you're over the age of 16, you should actually go to jail for a decent amount of time. You should go to youth detention to show you that stabbing people is just not even close to being bloody acceptable.
Well, we made the point yesterday.
The sentencing is the issue.
It's hard to imagine that this was all of these kids' first brush with law, and we found out last night on the news that one of them had been done for disseminating child exploitation material.
Yeah.
Like, we should listen earlier in people's lives when they tell you they're not interested in participating in society.
Yeah, there's always a few red flags there.
Did you happen to hear any of the evidence given in the Select Committee on Nuclear Energy yesterday?
No, I missed that one.
No, it sounds like the most boring thing on planet Earth, and in large part it was. This is the Labor stacked committee.
This is the stitch-up committee.
This is the stitch-up committee.
Like an idiot.
That's right. They're going to take evidence and essentially say that this is no chance this can happen. No experts agree, and so on and so forth. Well,
so that cost of living hero Chris Bowen can warn against expensive power if nukes get the go-ahead.
This committee yesterday told the story of Australia, I think. So they said the official position, Select Committee on nuclear energy. They're probing the viability of atomic power, given the coalition's policy. Okay. On the first day of public hearings, they had the Australian Energy Regulator Chair Claire Savage on, and Claire made the point: look, nuclear may well have a role in meeting our energy needs, but it would take a long time. Okay, long time. What does that mean, do you ask? Is it about finding the sites? Is it about building the reactor? Of course not. This is Australia. The hardest part turns out to be...
I would have thought you would have been looking at 8 to 10 years for a regulatory framework. That takes you from here, say, 2025 to 2035 before you commence building. Much of our coal fleet won't last well beyond that.
The red tape in Australia to start a nuclear energy program takes almost twice as long as building a nuclear power plant.
Well, it can take you like 6 months to put up a larger than normal Stratco shed. So this is actually a problem across the board. And in a way, to go back to Cyril Two's, the problem with with so much of what happens in Australia... This is the problem in
Australia right now.
It's like, you have had a fall, have you? You've landed flat on your face. Well, if we go back and check in January... You were assessed for level... Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'll take your details, and if you can ring... And then you ring back 4 days later after cricket. So it's like, I don't know who you spoke to the other day. So what's your situation again, Mr. Twos? Like...
Claire Savage went on to say this.
And sadly for Mr. Twos, the conclusion he drew is, kill me now.
Yeah, well...
Quite literally, not metaphorically.
I think a few people are thinking it metaphorically. Claire Savage wanted to explain that. She said, by the time you do licensing, safety, environmental, technical, commercial, you do legislation, rules, guidelines, consultation. For us to do a guideline takes 12 to 18 months, she said, because you have to do an issues paper, a draft decision, and a final decision.
There's a make work scheme for people.
This is the...
Then at the end you might find a banded bee.
That's right. This is the Australian condition right now. That's that emerged at this committee. This is a farce. And this is to do something the rest of the world is doing, right?
Yeah.
We're not the first. This is not, we're going to have to regulate what our lunar colony is going to look like.
Talking about people having their jobs upended by COVID, sadly, the people responsible for every step of the process outlined there, they're the ones who veritably coasted through COVID. People who sit there looking at forms going, I might get to that one a bit later.
The coalition's view is, energy spokesperson Ted O'Brien spoke after that evidence yesterday. He said the International Atomic Energy Agency estimates that it takes 10 years from go to woe, construction, site finding, regulation and so forth. Now, maybe that is over-enthusiastic, but geez, it belled the cat yesterday about how stuffed this country is with red tape.
Well, compare it to the process of putting up a fence around Unley Oval. I mean, that's entering...
That's it again.
That's entering its second year.
This is it.
The Crows headquarters. Maybe that's what we need. A small modular reactor near the West Theberton Hotel.
Well, do you know, in the defence of what Claire Savage said yesterday, part of it she described was having to make a coordinated plan between 3 tiers of government.
Yeah.
Imagine just being a local council about the nuclear reactor.
Hey, what about, there's a terrifically innovative idea that your other boss, Kerry Stokes, has had for to win over the locals, the potential NIMBYs, cut them out of the process by saying anyone who lives within 10 kilometres or whatever, 5 kilometres, he hasn't specified a distance, but if you live within QE, significant QE of the reactor, you get free power.
Yeah, good. It's a great idea.
That's a cool idea. That's
Great
a bit of a
idea.
Freakonomics idea.
Helen in Glenelg North has called in this morning. Good morning to you, Helen.
Good morning, boys. Look, really, these stabbings, the Premier's going to have to step up here. These boys, a few of those boys had just been bailed, and they're back doing the same thing, and they're out again.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on?
Well, the bail part of it is ridiculous, Helen. You're dead right.
I know, but we talk about it all the time, but there's nothing concrete done.
Correct.
I mean, well, David, what about if you and I are out shopping and we get stabbed and our kids get stabbed? Does anyone take responsibility for that?
Well, let's see what happens in this case because, I think everyone's suspicions are rightly running hot that nothing's going to happen, Helen. Good call, thank you.
Lots of texts on that as well, 044808 1395. The Duttons text line, third generation family-owned dealership with over 70 years experience and easy to do business with. Should we do a couple of texts?
There's one here I just read that actually sounds like a pretty significant story. We might leave that to one side until we can verify it. One here, Andrew saying, sure you can buy knives everywhere, but it's about people not being allowed to carry them in public. The police now carry handheld scanners. Are they being proactive enough given how many people are carrying them? Well, I don't know. This is what I struggle with, Andrew. Like, calls for the police to do more. What are you just meant to look at someone and go, he looks like the type of person who might be carrying a knife. Let's give him a quick scan. How does that work in practice? It's so many people are texting and saying what we're saying. It's the penalty. Yeah. And that's where there's a role for government. Because the penalty's clearly a crap.
Yep. All right, let's check traffic now. Thanks to Duttons, a third-generation family-owned dealership with over 70 years' experience and easy to do business with.
Thanks, Will. We're accident breakdown free this morning, so that's a pretty good way to start Friday, isn't it? Do have works to look out for you from McGlandor, Anzac Home near Grosvenor Street. Also at Wingfield, Grange Junction Road near Dunstan Road. A little bit slow at the moment at Gorge Road, Maryvale at Athelston for works. Cameras Upper Sturt Road, Upper Sturt and Hawthorne Road at Mount Barker. Freedom's Homeware sale is on now. Get up to 30% off selected rugs, wall art, mirrors and lighting to elevate your home with finishing touches. Sale ends Monday, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We're hearing a lot about potential changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax. Big topics that could affect anyone with investment properties. The truth is, navigating these changes doesn't need to be overwhelming. At Toop and Toop, we're keeping a close eye on what's happening. Our job is to help you understand how these changes might impact your property and what options you have moving forward. Whether you're looking to invest, sell, or just want to chat about what's ahead, we're here to offer solid advice that cuts through the noise. No panic, just clear information from people who know the market. If you'd like to learn more about what this could mean for your current situation, feel free to contact our team at Toop and Toop on 8362 8888.
Volksfest is now on at Solitaire Volkswagen. Save up to 25% off selected demonstrator vehicles. Over 170 vehicles available. Exclusive to Solitaire Volkswagen, Hawthorne and Medini. Hurry, Volksfest ends October 31. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
There's some big players in the solar energy market, but it's important to remember that bigger isn't always better. At BJ Energy, we're big enough to supply trusted brands like SolarEdge and small enough to take the time to listen. We don't bulk sell solar packages. We'll work with you to find out what you need and what you can expect to save. We can even move you away from gas and electrify your entire home. Visit bjenergy.com.au for a free, no pressure, no obligation quote.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth a trip. And now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver. From the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth the trip. Steinborner.com.au.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Walco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
26 after 7, Timmy G in just a moment. Been talking comebacks for the meat trade this morning with the return of Sterling variety meats. Not at Sterling, but at Mount Barker. As we learnt a little while ago, they're hoping to return to Sterling one day, but great recovery from them, the fire that was no fault of their own year and 10 days ago. Dave in Albany's called in with a sporting comeback. Morning to you, Dave.
Good morning, Will. Don't panic. Jason McCartney was involved in the Sari Club bombings over there in Bali in 2002, and then fought his way back to play top-level footy again, and then, as everyone would recall on the night, said that'll do for me, and retired. To come back from that, both physically, emotionally, and mentally, to play at the top level, probably no greater comeback that I can think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you remember watching that game live, Dave? It was, from memory, it was a night game, and it was Roos Richmond, was it?
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was a Friday night game,
Friday
and then
night.
yeah, and they grabbed him afterwards, and he just said that'll do me.
It was hairs on the back of your neck. I remember that. I remember that moment when
he set up a goal too at the end.
He kicked the goal.
Oh, no, he kicked it.
He kicked the goal
right
from
at the
outside
end.
50.
That's right.
I reckon he kicked 3 goals that night. It was ridiculous. And then you said, "That's it." Oh yeah.
I remember he said, "I'm spent."
Yeah. What a great moment.
And speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G!
Sport's got away providing some great moments like that.
Oh, yeah.
Section sport and the brutality of the real world.
In the world of sport, the word hero is so overused and wrongly used, but that was heroism.
Sure was. All right, let's talk sport more broadly with Timmy G. Timmy, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. I've actually pretty excited last week at Bathurst when Brodie Kostecki got up with young Hazelwood from South Australia, and they won Bathurst in the Chico Roll car. That's a comeback if I've ever seen one. The Chico Roll.
The Chico Roll. You can't knock the roll, as the ad used to say.
Sensational stuff. Hey guys, big game tonight in the AFLW, which has come under a bit of scrutiny of late. The Adelaide Crows take on North Melbourne. It's second versus third at Norwood Oval. Perfect evening. Should be a cracking crowd. North Melbourne haven't actually lost a game. They've won 8 and drawn 1. They've been really good this year. Adelaide have only dropped the 2 games, so I reckon that's a real blockbuster game, and it really should be an entertaining one as well at Norwood Oval. But it's come under scrutiny this year for a couple of reasons. They've tried to squash an extra game in, which then caused a bit of condensing, and some teams played 4 games in 14 days. In a game that's developing in a what would you say, the squads that are learning, some of them to be now full-time, I thought it was way too early to start trying to put in a EPL-type calendar to the game. And Laura Kane was asked about it and basically ticked off all the boxes and said, all good, nothing to see here. And I think there was a launch of the Indigenous Guernseys, and a lot of the players from the AFLW were wearing them and photo shoot, and they were being asked. Each and every one of them said, you can't condense those games, that's killing us. None of them were happy with it. So I don't know who's talking to who, but the right information not getting through, or it's just a really bad PR stunt.
Yeah, certainly sounds like the latter, I think, Tim.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, a bit disappointed on that front, and we couldn't get Laura on. She was in. We tried to get her on, and I'm not sure whether it's me or Rowie, perhaps, that
Who will know? That's one of life's mysteries, Tim.
I've got a quiet tenor, or indeed my house, that says it's Rowie, Tim.
Good on you, Timmy. Catch the sports show tonight. Rowie and Timmy G. Just reflecting on that McCartney clash. Kicked the goal in the last quarter. North Melbourne got up. He then assisted the score that eventually won them the game.
Yeah.
After having played a handful of games in the VFL. One of the great stories in the history of
incredible.
Australian sport. All right, 5AA News Time. We're off to Canberra to talk federal politics next.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hydrotherapy at FIVEAA Extra Marion, including underwater treadmill, latest rehab facilities and highly trained physios. physioextra.com.
A staff member has been threatened with a knife during a service station robbery at Marion last night. Senior Constable Dave Backer says the attendant wasn't injured.
Two teenagers, a boy and a girl, have entered the store and started filling bags with groceries. Staff members approached the boy and he's produced a knife threatening the staff member. And then the two used and then ran away from the store. Last seen heading south towards Venice Street.
The boy is described as Caucasian in appearance, about 180 centimetres tall with a slim build. He was wearing white shoes, black clothing with a cap. The girl is described as being Caucasian in appearance with a slim build and short dyed red hair. She was wearing a black feeler jumper. Hundreds of Qantas workers are walking off the job this morning. Dusty Fitzpatrick reports.
More than 400 engineers will down their tools across Sydney, Brisbane, Hobart and Perth. The workers, who conduct pre-flight safety checks, ground support, planners and flight simulations, will hold 2 sets of 4-hour stoppages. The move is designed to disrupt the airline's AGM, which is happening in Hobart. Qantas says contingency plans have been put in place and it doesn't expect passengers to be affected.
The government wants to rezone a vacant parcel of land in the northern suburbs to pave the way for 300 new homes. The vacant site is situated south of John Rice Avenue at Elizabeth South, between Phillip Highway and Commercial Road, opposite the former Holden factory site. The community is invited to provide feedback, which would see the vacant 12.1 hectare site rezoned. Should the proposal be approved, housing construction could commence from November 2026. In a world-first trial, Australian researchers have successfully treated a burns patient with human-like skin grown in a laboratory. The procedure follows more than a decade of work on bioengineered skin by the team from the Alfred Hospital and Monash University. Reconstructive plastic surgeon at the Cleveland Heath says it's a huge breakthrough.
The biopsy is around about 2 by 5 centimetres, and with that size tissue in a healthy, youngish person, we can expand the area of the skin that comes back to us by about 100 times.
The Australian Education Union says current public school funding commitments aren't good enough. The union says the schooling resource standard is being seen as an aspiration rather than a minimum standard. Federal President Karina Haythorpe says teachers have had enough.
This funding debate's been going on now for well over a decade. And yet we've got workforce shortages and escalating workloads and students who need additional help in schools. Time for government to get on with the job of backing public schools.
Canada has announced plans to significantly reduce the number of migrants entering the country over the next 2 years, following decreasing public opinion towards new arrivals. The BBC's Jacob Evans reports.
In 2025 and 2026, Canada had planned to bring in about 1 million new residents, but under the plans announced today, this target has dropped to around 770,000, about a quarter less. It's a surprising shift for a country with a history of welcoming new arrivals, but follows rising public concern over their impact on jobs and public housing. In a post on X, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the plan was to pause population growth and to let the economy catch up.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
Good morning, Graham. Plenty of great cricketers in action today in the one-day format domestically, and Glenn Maxwell is one of those who'll be playing for Victoria as they take on New South Wales in a blockbuster top-of-the-table one-day clash. South Australia is currently third and will be looking for a win against Queensland in Brisbane. In football, Adelaide's W team has a huge blockbuster clash against North Melbourne tonight at Norwood Oval. Last night, Hawthorn jumped into top spot with a 6-point win against Melbourne. The Adelaide 36ers will take on Cairns tonight in a big NBL game at home. Southeast Melbourne's interim coach Sam McKinnon, meantime, is optimistic their season can be turned around. The Phoenix recording their second win since McKinnon took the reins, smashing New Zealand 88-62.
When I sort of started in this role, I said to the guys, bring your hard hats and be ready to go. And it's going to be hard, but like a good weekend can change the season around. And we're speaking about this week, trying to win 2 games to get us back to 3 and 5.
One other game overnight, and undermanned Melbourne United getting it done, beating the top-placed Illawarra 92-87. Well, the supercars will hit the notoriously tight Surfers Paradise Street Circuit today for practice ahead of the Gold Coast 500. Top driver Chaz Mostert telling Wide World of Sports it's an unforgiving track.
This place here bites pretty hard, so really test out the drivers, test out the teams, and you need to really have a good car under you, which also somehow just bobbles over some concrete curbs and fly through the air on one tire.
Full-time in Europa League action, and Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham look almost certain to progress to the knockout stages following a third win in third starts, beating AZ Alkmaar 1-0. Manchester United, though, has been frustrated again. It's 3 draws in a row for the Red Devils after sharing the points with Fenerbahce with a 1-1 result. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Morning there, rides looking okay for a Friday, which is a really nice way to head into the weekend. We're accident breakdown free. We'll find some works at Wingfield, which are a bit sluggish at the moment. Grange Junction Road near Dunstan Road. Also Glenside slow too. Portrush Road near Cater Street. Getting a little bit busy South Road at Karata Park, just near the underpass. And a camera this morning, River Road at Harndorf. Where can you find over 70 traders under one roof? Only at the market. Adelaide Central Market, the destination for fresh produce, meat, seafood, cheese, pantry, essentials and more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Fine weather ahead. Partly cloudy and 21 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 27. Sunday sunny 25. Monday partly cloudy 23. Currently it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hello, my name's Thelma and I'm here with Deb from St Louis Home Care. Hi Thelma. Deb and the staff from St Louis Home Care always welcome me with a lovely warm smile, and more than that.
Yes Thelma, our friendly team provides services like cleaning, shopping and personal care. It's all about supporting you to live longer at home.
Oh, it's lovely. Where I want to be. At St Louis, you really are part of our family.
Join Thelma and Deb. Google St Louis Home Care today.
The Lordman and Pank sale is here. Enjoy 20% off a range of prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses and contact lenses today. Hurry, offer ends October 27. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Book an eye test today. Lordman and Pank. We care for eyes.
Have you heard about the sunrise swim banana? Or the morning stroll banana? The kicking goals banana? The rowing banana? The mowing banana? The frisbee throwing banana? Well, now you have. You see, whatever you think, there's a banana to make your body sing.
Volksfest is now on at Solitaire Volkswagen. Save up to 25% off selected demonstrator vehicles. Over 170 vehicles available. Exclusive to Solitaire Volkswagen, Hawthorn and Medini. Hurry, Volksfest ends October 31. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Coming up to 20 minutes to 8, in about 10 minutes' time, we're going to be speaking with the Treasurer of South Australia. We've been receiving a number of text messages over the last half an hour with some concerning reports about the future of the oncology unit at Western Hospital. It sounds like, at very least, staff there are concerned that there'll be a discontinuation of that service. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
It sounds like some departments are being closed as part of the bid to save the hospital, which was in a parlous financial state. The Treasurer has been across it since the get-go. We broke the story in January that it was about to hit the wall. And, disturbing in terms of what it could mean for services in the western suburbs.
But we'll find out more for you in about 10 minutes' time. In the meantime, we're off to Canberra. Michael Packey's the National Political Editor for Nine Radio. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, team. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Pack. Well, obviously, whatever else was on the political agenda in Canberra this week was somewhat overshadowed by former Green Senator, now mad as a cut snake, independent Lydia Thorpe. Pretty spectacular stuff. Were you there when it happened?
No, look, I wasn't there when it happened, but I obviously saw it unfold. And look, to a certain extent, you almost have to expect these sorts of stunts from people like Lydia Thorpe. As soon as we saw her in the crowd, there was shots of her in the crowd, and I think at one stage she had her back turned. You almost would have expected that there would have been some sort of stunt from her. And obviously there was. And obviously now there's all this talk about her having to resign, which she's not going to. And not only isn't she not going to resign, I don't think there's really that much recourse for her to resign because she was elected by the people of Victoria.
We had Simon Birmingham on the program about it yesterday, and he said that the Coalition were seeking legal advice, but I saw late yesterday that constitutional experts were coming out and saying, well, there doesn't actually seem to be any basis on which you can be expelled from the Parliament.
That's right, and I think that the Liberal Party, once Parliament resumes, are probably going to try and see what they can do about this situation. There's no doubt about that. They're going to try and see if they can, get her expelled. But I don't know that they can because, as I say, not only was she elected as a Victorian senator, she hasn't committed any crime. So it's not as though she's been charged with a crime, and that means that she cannot sit as a member of Parliament. And the other thing is that she's not a bankrupt. So there are these sorts of rules and regulations as to what constitutes being able to sit in the Parliament. I mean, they can move a censure motion against her. What all that means is that the Parliament just simply says, look, we don't accept what Lydia Thorpe did, and we think that she should be condemned for what she did, but the Parliament condemns her, and that's pretty much it. So I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure there'll be some sort of condemnation of her behaviour, but it means nothing, and she knows that it means nothing.
Michael, the Prime Minister followed the King to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. Did anything of substance come out of that in a domestic political sense?
Look, it's going for a couple of days. I think the big thing there's going to obviously be security talks amongst these Commonwealth leaders, and amongst the Pacific nations, they're going to want to talk about climate change. It's always one of their big issues, especially amongst these smaller Pacific nations that are part of the Commonwealth. They want the bigger nations such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and obviously the UK to do more to ensure that as sea levels rise in some of these small Pacific countries, that there's something done to help them out. We already know Australia, in terms of Tuvalu, which is one country which has got rising sea levels. I think it's got about 11,000 inhabitants. Well, those 11,000 inhabitants are gradually going to become citizens of Australia because they're going to have to leave that tiny island nation. So I think most of it will centre around security, probably a bit on China and China's influence in the region, but I think the overarching issue is going to be climate change.
Do you think that Albo, he obviously has to go to these things, they're important from a sort of global security, regional security perspective, climate change is an issue, but do you think he gets on the plane knowing that every time he leaves Australia to go to a place like Samoa for one of these meetings, he loses 0.5% in the upcoming news poll?
Look, you're right. I, to a certain extent, I don't think that he wants to be going on some of these trips, but no. I think he has to. I think he has to. And the fact that the King was here in Australia and then went to Samoa along with the Queen as part of the Commonwealth Heads of Government, and Australia is part of the Commonwealth and the King is our head of state, it's like he's got no choice. And over the next month or so, probably 6 weeks, there's going to be a lot of these summits which he's going to have to attend because world leaders are going to be there, and he has to be there and, talk to world leaders, whether it be about trade, security. For example, in Chogam, the Commonwealth Heads of Government in Samoa, he's having a one-on-one meeting with Keir Starmer, the new British Prime Minister, and he hasn't had face-to-face talks with him yet since Keir Starmer was elected. So he's meeting with him, and of course issues like AUKUS, the Defence Pact, are going to be key issues or key items on their agenda during their one-on-one talks. So while he probably hates doing it, he probably has got no choice but to do it.
Absolutely. Good on you, Pack. Michael Packy there, the national political editor for 9 Radio.
Can you imagine being one of the 11,000 people from Tuvalu? I don't know what the property prices are like in Tuvalu, but what do you reckon they're going to make of trying to buy a home in Australia right now?
Probably about the same as Detroit. Because it's going to be, Tuvalu pretty soon, the way they're going.
Inevitably, it looks that way.
A centimetre above sea level. But yeah, rocking up here, be a bit of a bracing experience, wouldn't it?
Where do you go?
What do you do for a quid in Tuvalu?
Great
do we have any listeners who've been to Tuvalu or indeed are from Tuvalu?
Love to hear from someone. 8223 text us on the Dutton's text line very shortly. Chris,
when's Albo back from
Stephen
Samoa?
Marley going to be joining us.
Okay, that's a private gag. If anyone gets that, if there's any punk rock fans out there who get that gag, when is Albo back from Samoa, text in and you'll win a FIVEAA breakfast mug. This is like the experiment we did that time. How many of our listeners had seen the birthday party live? And we got 3.
The FIVEAA breakfast Venn diagram. We need to bring that back. That was
when is Albo back from Samoa?
Speaking of comebacks, that's the Meat Tray Friday question this morning. Your favourite comeback story. Ange in Kidman Park, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, mate.
And look, Australia-wide, it's got to be Alan Bond's America's Cup, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Probably the greatest comeback in Australian sport.
That would have to be, I remember getting up early, and that's when my dad was still alive, and my dad looked a bit like Alan Bond, receding hair, pudgy. He goes, and he's had very broken English, which I can't repeat what he said when it happened, but, I'll always remember that as a kid growing up.
Yeah, I reckon everyone will, Ange.
Yeah, great nomination.
Yep.
The Meat Tray, thanks to their own comeback story, the great people at Sterling Variety Meats, they've reopened, this time in Mount Barker, Shop 6239 Wellington Road, Mount Barker.
Terry reckons Peter Ford should be charged for calling her a skank. Oh, yeah, it was a terrible thing to call someone.
Pretty gross.
Yeah, you don't need to use language like that.
Coming up in a moment.
I did say man as a cut snake, though. Well, someone's texted in saying they like those Australianisms and we need to defend them.
I think that's less. I think skank is suggesting
skank
something beyond just being a bit
morals.
Strange.
Yeah, completely. Man as a cut snake. No, we'll run with that.
The Treasurer shortly on those rumours we're hearing about the Western Hospital and some of their services being shut down. That's coming up in a moment. First, traffic, thanks to Keys of Physiotherapy, Rehabilitation and Strength Training. Build strength with precision at Keys in Nord.
Thanks, Will. Pretty smooth sailing for the run-in, which is always nice on a Friday. Do have some works to keep in mind. You'll find them at Angle Park, South Road near Grand Junction Road. Also at Wingfield today, the Salisbury Highway to the Wingfield ramp. We are getting busy, the Port Expressway at Port Adelaide, and slow at the moment, Brighton Road, Glenelg East near Jetty Road. Camera 2 this morning to look out for Onkaparinga Valley Road at Verdun. Season 10 of the Weber WBBL is here. Don't miss the opening match as the Adelaide Strikers host the Heat at Adelaide Oval this Sunday. Search WBBL tickets. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
2 knife incidents at Elizabeth Shopping Centre yesterday. What the heck is going on? Can you imagine being in the food court particularly and kids with, and that's what they were, with knives, allegedly, start getting into each other? That's just appalling. And people fleeing, as you certainly would.
Matthew Pantelis.
Gee whiz. Just appalling, really, that this sort of thing can happen.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Don't let the sun set on your energy savings. With NRG Solar's cutting-edge batteries, your energy independence lasts long after sunset. Enjoy the freedom of solar, even when you're not home. Experience the future of energy. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. NRG Solar, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or call 1300 858 160 to explore a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different
in a Dave Benson caravan.
Summer is on the way, and at DBC, we're bringing the heat with genuine discounts. No Black Friday, no Cyber Monday, not even a free set of steak knives. Just a straight up $500,000 in discounts on Australia's largest range of new and used caravans under one roof. Prices reduced on over 100 vans, in stock, ready to rock. On now until the end of November, only at Dave Benson Caravans.
Seaford and Sounds is sailing into the Adelaide Central Market this Friday, today and Saturday tomorrow, October 25, 26.
Experience 2 days of live music, fresh seafood and good vibes. Enjoy street eats, specials from traders, free cooking demonstrations, a pop-up oyster bar and the ever-popular chili crab shack.
There'll be something for the whole family with a free kids workshop and face painting.
Bring your friends and family to the market this weekend with over 70 small businesses under one roof, supported by a huge network of local suppliers, growers and producers. There's nothing else like the Adelaide Central Market.
There certainly isn't. Open late Friday night and from 7am Saturdays. Visit adelaidecentralmarket.com.au for the program and bookings. See you at the market.
Hi, Daniel Talia here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. If you're thinking about selling your home and it's in our price range, we'll buy it. Forget spending thousands getting your home ready for sale. We'll offer you market value right now. And the settlement can be up to 12 months if you like, which gives you loads of flexibility. That's how easy it is. To get in touch with us today, visit home.com.au and remember HAUME.com.au. At Home, we buy homes.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes to 8. We spoke earlier about Ray Gun's failed attempt to trademark her name, and you mentioned that excellent Halloween decoration that was existing somewhere in Victoria. Well, we got a good text from a listener a short time ago saying you don't need to go to Melbourne to see the Halloween Ray Gun skeleton. There's a good one at Fairview Park on Hancock Road, an old house that does amazing decorations every year, according to Matt. Thank you for that, Matt. Maybe there'll be a few skeletal ray guns getting around. That's a great text. We received a whole stack of texts a short time ago from listeners directing us to a Facebook page at which people who use the Western Hospital Oncology Services had remarked that in talking with some staff, that it sounded as though they were expecting that service to be shut down. We've made some inquiries, and now the Treasurer of South Australia, Stephen Mulligan, joins us on the program. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Will. Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for joining us, Treasurer. Is this the case? Have you heard or been advised that some services, potentially including oncology, are being wound back or indeed stopped at the hospital?
Yeah, there's certainly a shadow over the oncology service. I guess, go back to the beginning of this year, at the end of January, the hospital was put into voluntary administration, and since then the administrators, Ernst & Young, have been working, in fact, with the government, strongly supported by my department, to try and get a sale for the broader Western Hospital business done. And the good news is that we are in the very final stages of that. That's been progressing really well over the recent months, and we think that we're very close to being able to conclude that process and make an announcement about the hospital staying open for good under a new operator. But the administrator had also chosen to try and sell the oncology practice, which is a much smaller part of the overall hospital services on the site, separately. And that sale process for the oncology business was due to conclude this week. They thought they had a buyer lined up for it, and that hasn't worked out. That's fallen through. And so now staff are being advised that as there isn't an operator for the oncology business, they're not going to be able to continue providing services at this time. My understanding is that the administrator will still try and sell the oncology business to somebody else, but in the meantime, this means that staff are being advised that the practice and its services will close for the time being. I think there's about 12 staff that are directly affected, and that's in the context of roughly 150 staff having been employed across the broader hospital services. But nonetheless, that's still 12 people facing some uncertainty. So we're certainly encouraging them or their representatives to keep in close contact with the administrator. And for people who are getting services from the oncology practice down there, they should speak to their oncologist directly about how their services are going to be provided to them on an ongoing basis.
Do we know how abruptly it's going to be wound up? Because I imagine it's pretty stressful if you're in the middle of a chemo treatment schedule at the moment, and 1 week you're going to be going to Western, and the next you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I think, the absolute imperative thing, aside from the concerns, obviously, that we've got for the staff being left in the lurch, is for the patients. And we're hoping that those oncologists would have made contact with their patients. But if there are any patients that are receiving services from that practice at Western Hospital who aren't sure what's going on or what will be happening with the provision of their services, they need to contact their oncologist, and they will be able to advise them what arrangements have been made. Of course, there's other oncology service providers around Adelaide, including not too far from Western Hospital, so our expectation is that the oncologists should be able to place those services with other facilities if they can't find another buyer to reopen these oncology services at the Western Hospital site.
Do you know, Treasurer, have any other services been affected?
No, my understanding is that this is the only service that's been impacted, and the rest of the hospital operations, as I mentioned before, are in the very final stages of successfully transitioning to new operators, which overall is very, very good news for the site. But I don't want to sort of make too much of that. Of course, while we've got 12 staff and the patients impacted by the shadow that's over these oncology services.
Thank you so much, Treasurer. That was illuminating. We appreciate your time. Stephen Mulligan, the Treasurer. Look, if you are one of those people, we don't need to know your name, and equally, we totally understand if it's too full on to discuss. But if you were in the position where you were, fired up about it and wanted to talk about how it's going to impact you, we would obviously be keen to talk to you.
They do a lot with a little, those oncology staff there, and they did a terrific job. Because of our proximity to the hospital, we had a family member who needed the service recently, lived with us for a period of time, to go there regularly. And, they didn't have the flashes set up getting around, but they made up for it with how professional and excellent they were. And they
always do in hospitals, don't they?
They always do.
I was in Flinders the other day visiting a loved one, and crikey, hospital. You think about how a house ages. Like, my dad left the repat as a biochemist and went to FMC the very first day it opened. And as kids, my sister and I can remember, you'd get there, it looked like the set of Doctor Who. Like, it was just so pristine, modern. Actually, maybe not. Doctor Who's not a good example, given that most of their props they're made out of alfoil for a school project.
But it looked like something from the future.
Yeah. Now, like, that building...
Yeah.
And you think about the QEH. I mean, the QEH, my God, it looks like a share house with sick people in it. These buildings, they never close and they're never quiet. They get smashed by foot traffic. But the staff, I was walking around there a couple of Mondays ago and just, I heard one conversation with a group of specialists about a woman in labour. Then there was a cancer treatment one. And they're all just in the corridors, just doing their jobs. The building looks like it's about to fall down.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
They do a remarkable job, the healthcare professionals.
Barely, not even 50 years old, that building, and it already looks like a bomb's hit it. Incredible.
That was fascinating. Any more information, or if you work there, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000 is the number. 2 minutes to 8. A really good Breaking at 8 coming up on the other side of 5AA News, so stick around.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa, building strength with precision in Norwood.
Duttons have been easy to do business with for 75 years. Clearly, people enjoy the experience. Just one quick trip up to the hills or onto Murray Bridge and you have 12 vehicle brands to choose from. Everything from Ford, GWM and Haval, to Hyundai, Isuzu Ute and LDV, to Mazda, Mitsubishi and Nissan, to Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. That's a whole lot of choice, and much less running around. Duttons, Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. Duttons.com.au. LDV 90.
Duttons. Easy to do business with.
I'm high!
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home, with meals from just $12, like soup from $12 with garlic bread, half beef or chicken schnitzels, $16, sweet and sour pork with rice, $16, bangers and mash, $18, 1 or 2 piece fish and chips from $16, and 250 gram porterhouse, $22. Gotta love the Excelsior Hotel lunchtime menu. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a Bro Hotel.
If the bank's declined your business loan, no worries. Universal Finance make business loans easy. No financials required. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now. For lightning fast settlement, sometimes in just a matter of hours. See Universal Finance in Kent Town today. Or search Universal Finance right now. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
Hey guys, did you know that Austrac Campers is just around the corner? That's right, at Camden Park we have a massive showroom set up with all of our models on display, so come and see for yourself.
Austrac!
Austrac!
Austrac Campers!
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
A 41-year-old Mannum man who has never held a licence has blown almost 4 times over the legal limit. Senior Constable Dave Backus says his car was pulled over early this morning.
Murray Bridge Patrol stopped a Holden Commodore on Adelaide Road at Murray Bridge, and that driver's he's a 41-year-old man from Mannum. He's submitted to a breath test and he's returned a positive result of 0.190, so nearly 4 times the legal limit. And when the patrol's done checks on him, it's revealed he's never held a licence. So he's been reported for drink driving, and he won't be able to obtain a licence for another 12 months at least.
Assaults involving people being stabbed or threatened with a knife appear to be on the rise. David Bruce reports.
In just 24 hours, we've had a number of situations involving knives or similar. 3 youths have been charged over an altercation at the Elizabeth Shopping Centre on Wednesday night, in which an 18-year-old was stabbed with a knife. One of the alleged attackers, just 14 years old. After that, 2 women in their 20s were confronted by a security guard for allegedly stealing items from the same shopping centre. It's understood he was stabbed in the arm. And then yesterday afternoon, a 60-year-old woman was arrested after a 59-year-old man suffered stab wounds to the neck at Newton. There's growing concern at the number of violent incidents featuring knives recently. This on top of patrons at some clubs regularly being searched to see if they're armed, and knives and other weapons turning up at some of our schools and, of course, on the street.
And in the latest incident involving a weapon, a staff member has been threatened with a knife during a service station robbery at Marion last night. The attendant approached a boy who was in the confectionery aisle stuffing items into his bag. When challenged, the boy produced a knife and threatened the victim. The youths ran from the store, last seen heading south towards Finnis Street. The boy is described as Caucasian in appearance, about 180 centimetres tall, with a slim build. He was wearing white shoes, black clothing, with a cap. The girl is described as being Caucasian in appearance, with a slim build and short dyed red hair. She was wearing a black feeler jumper. Hundreds of Qantas workers are downing tools today as they battle for better pay and conditions. The airline says it's not expecting industrial action from engineers to translate into delays for customers. But the National Secretary of the Australian Manufacturing Workers Union, Steve Murphy, says some of the most crucial engineers are walking off the job.
Importantly, they also do the line maintenance, which is Qantas's last line of defence. They make sure that all the incidents are captured. They make sure that they receive the aircraft, and before they take off, the aircrafts are all fit for service and are safe to take to the air.
Paracetamol package sizes will be reduced across the country in a bid to combat intentional misuse. The changes come into effect in February, but it isn't anticipated to have as drastic an impact as codeine reforms. University of Sydney's Dr. Rose Cairn says it's an important move.
There was an increasing number of overdoses with paracetamol in the past decade. That was primarily involving young people.
Police Commissioner Grant Stevens is among 4 SA nominees for the 2025 Australian of the Year Award. The other nominees are child protection expert Professor Leah Bromfield, Dr. Sarah Cannard, aerospace engineer, and cancer researcher Dr. Hannah Wardle. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. A guaranteed top four spot is up for grabs if Adelaide can beat North Melbourne at Norwood Oval tonight. It's second versus third, with the Crows looking to again challenge for the flag. Well, South Australia's cricketers will look to keep their rich run of form going when they take on Queensland in a one-dayer this morning in Brisbane. SA is yet to be beaten in the one-day comp or Shield competition after its first 4 games combined. Meantime, the WBBL cricketers will launch the season in Rundle Mall this morning, with the Adelaide Strikers kicking off their campaign on Sunday against the Brisbane Heat and looking for a third straight title. Adelaide United's players will train today ahead of tomorrow night's season opening match against the Central Coast Mariners. The Reds had the bye in the opening round, and round 2 gets underway tonight with Macarthur FC hosting the Newcastle Jets. Meantime, Tottenham's perfect start in the Europa League has continued after a 1-0 win against AZ Alkmaar, but Manchester United still yet to have a win after being held to a 1-1 draw against Fenerbahce, while Rangers smashed FC SB 4-0. The Adelaide 36ers will be hoping to keep their rich run of form going when they take on the Cairns Taipans at home tonight. The Sixers have won 4 of their past 5 and haven't lost at home this season. Coach Mike Wells telling Rowie and Timmy G that's something they want to continue.
We found a little rhythm with the group. I think that we're kind of forming kind of our identity a little bit as we move forward, and obviously winning home games and protecting home court and doing all the things that we need to do in front of the home fans has been a priority.
And there were 2 games overnight with Melbourne United and South East Melbourne both winning. And in some golf to finish, players are just hitting the course at Wollonga as the second round of the Australasian PGA Tournament begins here in SA this morning. New South Welshman Christopher Fan is the man to catch at 7 under. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Good on you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Morning there. Got a small bingo to look out for this morning at Gilberton. It's on Walkerville Terrace near Stephen Terrace, causing a few delays. Slow going for works at Crafers West. That's on the freeway of these days. Ramp speeds reduced through there. Getting a little bit busy at the moment. South Road at Karata Park just near the underpass, and slow Brighton Road, Glenelg East near Jetty Road. Got a camera this morning too. Upper Sturt Road at Upper Sturt. The time is now at Mercedes-Benz. Enjoy savings across the range, including Mercedes AMG and all electric models. Visit your nearest retailer or shop online today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy and 21 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 27. Sunday sunny 25. Monday partly cloudy 23. Currently it's 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. I promise you're going to enjoy this one. Jade Robran will hear from Jade again out on the road thanks to Dutton's just before 8:30. Feedback Friday, of course, this Friday morning. Get calling anytime this half hour. Chat with Emily and Lucy, and we'll book you in for Feedback Friday. We can win yourself $100 worth of Samtas seafood, and everyone who participates in Feedback Friday wins a prize. The other prize we've got is the big one a week out from the Christmas pageant, the 4 VIP grandstand tickets.
Well, let's hope that the carol's a bit easier than yesterday's Good King Wenceslas. What?
Is it easier, Lucy? Give us some indication. Is it
surely,
easier or is it harder,
Dave,
or do we not know yet?
At the end of the week, surely we're going to conclude with a bit of dun-dun-dun-dun.
Lucy says it'll be less traditional. You just want it to be Mariah Carey desperately, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It's not Mariah Carey, says Lucy.
What do you have to do around here to get the quiz that you want?
Invent it yourself and sing your own theme song, I think. That's the answer.
No. Hey, we are getting a lot of texts like this. This is serious. My mother-in-law was a nurse at Western until yesterday. She and the other nurses were told that Friday will be their last day, and there is also a big question mark on their entitlements being paid out.
Well, that shouldn't be a question.
Should not be a question, given the selfless dedication these amazing nurses show.
Well, I'm guessing they're not millionaires either.
No.
We're not talking...
No.
extraordinary amounts of money, and an entitlement is an entitlement. Shouldn't be
Someone
debated
asked
about whether
why
you get
couldn't
it.
the oncology service have been folded into the hospital as well?
It must have made it well, in a pure dollars and
Financial.
sense. It must have not made money.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be following this story into next week, and as we said, we're keen to hear from people working there or being treated there who are affected by this. Well, as Will said earlier, this is just an unadorned good news story. The Australian of the Year awards are coming up, and this morning it has been announced that one of the nominees for the Australian of the Year for South Australia is a voice that will be very familiar to listeners of our show, a voice that will be very familiar to every listener in South Australia. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens has been nominated as one of the 4 nominees for Australian of the Year for SA. Commissioner, good morning and congratulations. This is a well-deserved feather in your cap.
Good morning, Dave and Will, and thank you. I have to say I was pretty surprised when I got the call letting me know that I'd been nominated.
Do you know how it comes
We're
about? No, we're not.
We're not.
Well, to be honest with you, I actually, while I was talking to the person who rang me and notified me of my nomination, I was checking to see whether it was any of my staff out in the office area haven't taken the piss, but no, it was a genuine phone call.
Well, Commissioner, look, I mean, obviously everybody knows what you and your family have been through this year, and undoubtedly that is part of it. You know, you've done a couple of huge things for the state, humanising the road toll statistics. These people aren't numbers. Promoting organ donation. And I think too, a lot of people would have understood if you just walked away from public life.
Yeah, I think I've said publicly before that there was a brief moment when I wondered whether this was time to maybe move on and do something different. But I just felt like there was more that could be done. And yeah, I've got more to contribute, and I thought that was really important. And Emma told me that I wasn't welcome at home between 7:30 and 5 p.m. So I may as well come to work if I can't be at home.
Right. A bloke's got to do something, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's I hate the fact that I have a perspective on the road toll that I didn't have before we lost Charlie, and I hear, and I'm obviously briefed on road fatalities. Unfortunately, every week I'm getting a briefing on a road fatality, and as disappointing as it is to hear about another person losing their life, it cuts pretty deep when I hear about another 19-year-old like Amy who passed away last week in a horrible road crash, and Poppy Crozier who passed away in May last year. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I feel for those families. I know exactly what they're going through, and it breaks your heart.
If you're South Australian of the Year or you go on to become Australian of the Year, and you end up, it extends this period that you talk about your own personal tragedy, Grant. And does any part of you wish for an end date for that conversation, or is it part of what keeps you going, the idea of talking about it, and it doesn't matter whether it's in an official capacity or not?
Yeah, that's a tough question, Will, because we're really grateful the court process is finished. That was hard on our family, but there's not a day goes past when someone doesn't approach me. Quite often, a person I don't know and offers their condolences, or just talks about Charlie, which we really love talking about him. But I don't know. It's a natural conversation because this is what's happened. This is our lives now. So we will always talk about Charlie, and there's a huge amount of that is sadness, but we can't help but smile when we think about the little bugger too.
And when do you know, Commissioner? So this is in the lead up to Australia Day, and there will be the big awards, I guess, in Canberra, probably. Would it be a weird thing, because obviously if you make South Australian of the Year, then you're in the hunt to be the national one. Is that something that you've contemplated? It'd be a pretty wild.
I didn't even see this on the radar, Dave. It wasn't. it wasn't like I was nominated myself. It was genuinely a shock to get the call saying I'd been nominated. A little bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. And I've been to the Australian of the Year for South Australia presentations, and I've always been, hugely impressed by the people who get nominated. There's some fantastic South Australians out there doing amazing things, and usually, under the radar. So to be nominated, I'm pretty overwhelmed by that. So there's I think the announcement is on, at a function on the 7th of November, and then obviously the Australian of the Year stuff. If you're the South Australian nominee, that'll be in January in Canberra.
Now, on the official award nomination, Commissioner, it's Grantley. Now, is that what we're going by now? Should we call you Grantley Stevens?
No. I think the only person who calls me that is my mum and two people out of my cadet course. So, but I get called much worse than Grantley, so don't worry about that.
Well, Commissioner, congratulations. It's we're so thrilled to be able to break this story as well. I reckon everyone in SA
it's just superb.
Will be cheering you on. And probably quite a few of them business owners who are happy that you took the foot off the throat a bit during the lockdown compared to what was happening in some other parts of Australia. So good on you, Grant Stevens. We're thrilled for you, and we wish you all the very best with it.
Thank you very much. I will say, I know there's a bunch of South Australians out there who don't particularly like me because I changed the 6-day lockdown to a 3-day lockdown, and they missed out on 3 days at home.
Well, I suppose that pizza box, it was less dramatic than it sounded like in the first instance.
Yeah.
Good on you, Grant Stevens. Thank you for that. Cheers. Now, we should round it out too. There's 3 other very special South Australians who are also nominated. And at some stage, we'd love to have a chat to them as well.
Most definitely.
Professor Leah Bromfield, who is a child protection expert, Dr. Sarah Kennard, who's an aerospace engineer, and Dr. Hannah Wardle, who is a cancer researcher. And then there's also a dozen other people nominated for Senior Aussie, Young Aussie, and Local Hero for South Australia.
I'm just looking down the entire list of all the other states as well. There's not a, former Australian Test opener or, AFL footballer or something.
Dave Warner, watch this space. He might offer to be listed.
which is just heading off the narrative that I always hate around this award, is that it goes to, people that have been otherwise on a national stage celebrated or appropriately compensated for doing something that everyone would have done had given half the chance, and then parlaying it into doing some charity work. These are all unbelievable people that have done some remarkable things, in anti-ageism, for example, people in the world of the arts, people who have done things for people with disabilities in places as well. This is an incredible honours list of people here in South Australia. It's going to be great to get the opportunity to celebrate all these people. And the police commissioner, a deserved one among them. We've got a good Dutton's text from someone, and I reckon in the consciousness of people, certainly this goes to the horrible tragedy in the commissioner's life and the work he's done and the energy he's turned to fighting the road toll and so forth. But for many South Australians, this represents a sort of career achievement award too. It's a culmination of things like the text we got about navigating South Australia through the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, it was the police commissioner. He was the emergency commander of the state. One of the criticisms of the premier that ended up losing his gig, Stephen Marshall, was that he didn't take enough control. Well, he had the luxury of not taking control because he had Grant Stevens doing it.
So early 2019, when everything was shut down, 2020, when everything was shut down, I remember doing an interview, can't even remember what the story was about, but I had to talk to Bob Carr, former New South Wales premier, and I rang him and he said, "How's life in Adelaide?" And I said, "Pretty good compared to elsewhere." And in his usual Shakespearean tones, Carr said, "David, as I am talking to you, the Maroubra Council has erected crime scene tape around the local park, preventing us from going for walks." And it was funny, because that same day, there was a emergency cabinet meeting happening here, where local cellar doors in South Australia had said, "Hey, look, we know that we can't have tastings, but given that the bottle shops are all open, why can't we sell from cellar doors as bottle shops ourselves?" And at that meeting, Grant Stevens went in there and said, look, we've had a request from the cellar doors, and I can't see the problem with it. Now, I don't know what Professor Spurrier's view was, but I would guess that there would have been people in SA Health who said, "Oh, all of these are unnecessary risks." And the Commissioner's view on so many different occasions during that whole period was, well, life is not without risk. So, you know, and what's the logic in saying BWS can be open, but Coriol can't?
Yeah.
If you're going in and out to buy a box of red, and I just thought, and I said to Carl, like, you know, we seem to be taking a more middle road position here. And then, I mean, you know, that's one thing. Victoria? I mean, I got mates with kids there who did all their schooling through that, and they are still suffering significantly. So
well,
that is
the economy there is still completely stuck.
Oh, well, it's completely up there. You know what?
Wendy also makes the point of the Dutton text on Grant Stevens has a hand in Operation Flinders. Yeah, there is a long list of achievements that this could stand to represent as well. Let's have a look at the traffic situation. We'll come back with more in just a moment. Keeza Physiotherapy, rehabilitation and strength training builds strength with precision at Keeza Nord.
Thanks, Will. At Gilberton, a small bingo to look out for this morning at Walkerville Terrace near Stephen Terrace. If you're heading up into the hills this morning, look out for a car that's going into a guardrail at Lobethal, just on Cuddly Creek Road coming into Lobethal. Works at Hilton a bit slow at the moment, so Donald Rabbit Drive near Milner Road and getting busy Brighton Road, Glenelg is just near Jetty Road. Cameras on Cabringa Valley Road, Oakbank, and Upper Sturt Road at Upper Sturt. Power up Android with Telstra and save on the latest Android devices with Australia's best mobile network. Talk to your local Telstra team today or go online to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Chris Fagan presented his medal to Oscar McInerney.
Yeah, just made the decision to give it to Oscar. It seemed fair.
Yeah, so nice gesture by Chris. It's typical of him, I think. I think it's one of those moments that sort of probably does haunt you for the rest of your life because you can't get it back. You can't get that moment back.
The 5AA Sports Show.
He was so enthusiastic.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, Daniel Talia here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. Put simply, we buy homes. We're not agents, we don't charge fees, there's no advertising, none of that. We just make the process of selling your home easy. It means you don't have to spend a cent or any of your valuable time getting it ready for sale. We'll buy your home as is and at market value. It's pretty straightforward. Thinking of selling stress-free? Visit home.com.au. That's HAUME.com.au.
When you buy Fluorio Milk Company milk, you're pretty much buying direct from the farmer. We bottle it and send it straight to the supermarket. We deliver it ourselves too. It means we can give SA dairy farmers the best possible price per litre. So when you buy Fluorio milk, you're supporting SA dairy farmers and their families. Plus, your money stays here in SA. And in these times, that's good for all of us. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
I have a riddle for you. What do you call someone who enjoys a delicious meal of fish and chips, a beef schnitty burger, or a chicken wrap for just $15 with a stunning view of Port River at the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel during the week? Smart. Head into the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel any day of the week and grab a $15 lunch special. Also, if you're looking for a stellar function space, Lighthouse Wharf Hotel does that too. You just know it's a Barreau hotel.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value. City Discount Tires.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after 8. Do you know a healthcare hero? Better talk about healthcare workers this morning on the program. 5AA and Always Care want to celebrate the amazing healthcare workers in our community. All you need to do is head to 5AA.com.au and you can nominate someone, and that person could win $1,000 in cash. All thanks to Always Care Services, the support you need to live happily and independently, no matter what your situation. Alwayscare.com.au. Nominations close on Sunday, so head to the website now. All right, let's check in with Jade Robin, who's out on the road for us this morning. Thanks to the great people at Dutton's. Good morning again to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. South Australia's favourite seafood festival is back, and we've got some beautiful weather this weekend. So if you're looking for something fun to do, we've got you covered. Head along to Sea to Shore Glenelg Seafood Festival. It's on Saturday and Sunday. Head along to Jimmy Melrose Park. It's just at the end of Jetty Road there from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m, and it's free for everybody to enjoy. It's in its 3rd year, and this year I've been told it is going to be bigger and better than ever before, and they've certainly brought in some big guns. Some of South Australia's top chefs are taking part over the weekend. Now, you'd know Laura Sherrod from MasterChef fame and also owner of Fugazi. She's the ambassador and has curated the whole weekend. Joining her is Tom Tilbury, as well as popular restaurants who'll be vendors serving a whole heap of seafood dishes: Africola Canteen, Olivetti, Anchovy Bandit, Henley, and also Combita. These famous faces, they'll be whipping up some yummy fresh seafood, and you can pair it with local wines and gins as well. Now, Ambassador and Chef Extraordinaire Laura Sherrod joins us. Laura, tell us some more about the Sea to Shore Glenelg Seafood Festival.
So, Jade, the Glenelg Sea to Shore Festival is all about South Australian seafood and basically showing off to the punters what this industry is all about. We are so lucky to have, I think, some of the best seafood in the country, if not the world, here in South Australia. So to be able to have a festival like this, it's the first for our state, a festival that's all about seafood. You can come down, meet some of your favourite chefs. There's live cooking demonstrations. We've got lots of food vendor stalls set up, and the dishes that they've put up is absolutely incredible. My mouth is watering once the chefs are telling me what's happening. So you'll find me there across both days. I'm cooking up on the demo stage on Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and then I'm doing the first session of the day at 11:30 sharp on Sunday morning. And basically I'm going to make a pasta dish, and I've got a little cotoletta dish as well, so beautiful crumbed fish. And you can come down, try some incredible seafood dishes. The weather's going to be amazing. And it's just going to be, I think, an incredible event year after year. And I think this is going to be the best one yet. So if you don't have any plans this weekend, Saturday and Sunday from 11, hope to see you guys there. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, well, the weather could not be better for it. I can see you're licking your lips. Seafood festival.
Yeah, I am. I'm just thinking, I was also just looking at the CC Food website. That's that sensational seafood place at the Central Market. We're blessed for good seafood.
Yeah, there is good stuff getting around. Speaking of seafood, we have a $100 Samtas seafood voucher to give away for Feedback Friday. Get calling right now if you want to participate in Feedback Friday. Lucy and Emily are out in the booth, ready and waiting to take your call. 8223 0000. First 3 people through will be part of Feedback Friday. Everyone wins a prize. Someone gets $100 worth of Samtas seafood coming their way. Stick around, 5AA News first, then Feedback Friday. Get calling now.
TJM 4x4 will be at the National 4x4 show this week at the Adelaide Showground with 20% off everything TJM. Bull bars, suspensions, snorkels, the lot. There'll be huge savings on GVM upgrades including Lovells, Tough Dog and TJM. Plus discounts on the entire range of driving lights, light bars and work lights. Save on fridges, long range tanks, clear view towing mirrors, roof racks and so much more. This Friday, Saturday and Sunday, Wavell Pavilion, Stand WA.
Treat your family and friends to something a little fancy from FIVEAA, your family liquor stores.
Spring means fresh, vibrant flavours, and if you're partial to a white wine or two, try our selection of SA-made Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris. Let the sun shine in and enjoy a margarita with quality tequila, or lighten up with an Aperol or Campari Spritz. There are new beers to try too, with craft IPAs, Pilsners and Kolsch-style brews. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor store for over 45 years.
Stay comfortable all year round with a $399 Actron air conditioner from Mac Trade Services. Thanks to the SA Government REPS rebates, if you're a concession card holder or a renter, you can get an Actron Air reverse cycle air conditioner supplied and installed from just $399. That's nearly 80% off the normal price. Hurry, this deal won't last long. Terms and conditions apply. Visit us at our Rose Park office or find out more at mactradeservices.com.au.
Camper Agent RV Supercenter's huge RV yard sale is on this October 25th and 26th. Check out top RV brands like Winnebago, Windsor and Kia, plus X-Tour off-road caravans, Hitchhiker, Adria, Corrimal and Design RV. Save big on new and pre-owned caravans and motorhomes, all in stock and ready to roll. Free parking, free sausage sizzle. Come past and snag a bargain. Camper Agent RV Supercentre, your home on the road. See camperagent.com.au for details.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hydrotherapy at FIVEAA Extra Marion, including underwater treadmill, latest rehab facilities and highly trained physios. physioextra.com.
More trouble for the wireless steelworks. Rail company Horizon has stopped rail deliveries of iron ore to Sanjeev Gupta's plant because it hasn't been paid for previous services. The ore from the Middleback Ranges is processed at the wireless steelworks and exported to Asia. The plant has been losing $1 million a day since the blast furnace went offline 5 weeks ago. A staff member has been threatened with a knife during a service station robbery at Marion last night. Senior Constable Dave Backer says the attendant wasn't injured.
Two teenagers, a boy and a girl, have entered the store and started filling bags with groceries. Staff members approached the boy and he's produced a knife threatening the staff member. And then the two users then ran away from the store, last seen heading south towards Finnis Street.
The boy is described as Caucasian in appearance, about 180 centimetres tall with a slim build. He was wearing white shoes, black clothing and a cap. The girl is described as being Caucasian in appearance with a slim build and short dyed red hair. She was wearing a black feeler jumper. A 41-year-old man who has never had a driver's licence has been reported for drink driving after an early morning traffic stop on Adelaide Road at Murray Bridge. The driver from Mannum returned a positive result of 0.190, nearly 4 times the legal limit. Licence checks revealed the man had never held a licence. He was reported for drink driving and will face court at a later date. He will now not be able to obtain a licence for at least 12 months. The Albanese government believes the Middle East conflict will put further pressure on petrol prices and keep inflation higher for longer. Federal Politics Editor Michael Packey.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers is in Washington for key meetings with global finance leaders. In a major speech, he calls for a ceasefire and de-escalation of the conflict in the Middle East. While the crisis has had a humanitarian impact, Dr. Chalmers says we can't ignore the economic cost. He believes ongoing tension will risk persistent inflation for middle-class households across the world, arguing upward pressure on oil prices could threaten a soft landing for many countries. Dr. Chalmers' comments come as he tries to shift inflation as a global problem, not just an issue in Australia.
The government wants to rezone a vacant parcel of land in the northern suburbs to pave the way for 300 new homes. The vacant site is situated south of John Rice Avenue at Elizabeth South between Phillip Highway and Commercial Road opposite the former Holden factory site. The community is invited to provide feedback to the amendment, which would see the vacant 12-hectare site rezoned. Should the proposal be approved, housing construction could commence from November 2026. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens is among 4 SA nominees for the 2025 Australian of the Year. He told David and Will he was surprised to be nominated.
It was genuinely a shock to get the call saying I'd been nominated. A little bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. And I've been to the Australian of the Year for South Australia presentation, and I've always been hugely impressed by the people who get nominated. There's some fantastic South Australians out there doing amazing things and usually, under the radar.
The other nominees are child protection expert Professor Leah Bromfield, Dr. Sarah Cannard, aerospace engineer, and cancer researcher Dr. Hannah Wardle. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And Tom Wren, always plenty of cricket in the news.
Isn't there, Justin? There's a lot going on right now, Graham. Australian fast bowler Josh Hazlewood, well, he's backing the rookie Sam Consters for a test call-up to face India. The 19-year-old is a chance to fill the vacant opening role for Australia in the first test in Perth next month. 70-test veteran Hazlewood says Consters' birth certificate shouldn't be a factor.
I don't think anyone's too young. I mean, a lot of the guys around here have played international cricket at quite a young age, whether it be different formats. But I think Test cricket, yeah, if you need to throw him in there, and I'm sure he'd work it out.
Let's go to soccer. The Matildas are preparing to start a new era after the departure of coach Tony Gustafsson. Australia has slipped to 15th in the world after a horror performance at the Olympics. They play Switzerland tomorrow and Germany on Tuesday. Interim coach Tom Samani says they badly need a win.
The team, and particularly our senior players, are desperate to get back into a winning mentality. So we have to go into these two games with that thought process.
Meantime, Tottenham has continued its solid form with another win in the Europa League, this time against AZ Alkmaar 1-0. Manchester United, though, could only manage a 1-1 draw against Fenerbahce. Let's go to football. Former Crows and Brisbane midfielder Jarrod Lyons says he's thrilled to be back playing with his brother at Glenelg for next season. The 32-year-old finished with 194 AFL games, including 55 with the Crows, before he went to Gold Coast and then finished with the Lions. And he's told Rowan Bix the lure of playing with his brother Corey was a big factor in coming back to SA.
Yeah, that was probably the main driver for it. We spent 4 years in Brisbane, but I think we only played one cracky game together, so yeah, it'll be really exciting.
And Chris Waller has declared Via Sistina ready to go for tomorrow's Cox Plate. The 7-year-old had a quiet workout after throwing jockey James McDonald during track work on Tuesday. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
At Gilberton, a smash on Walkerville Terrace near Stephen Terrace. If you're around the hills at the moment at Lobethal, cars gone into a guardrail on Cuddly Creek Road there. Works at Sourceship Downs, a bit slow this morning. Kings Road near Andrew Smith Drive and getting busy both directions at Mile End Works there. South Road near St Donald Rabbit Drive. Cameron's Hawthorne Road, Mount Barker and River Road at Hahndorf. Say hello to summer at Anaconda. Save $300 on the fuel stand-up paddleboard must end Sunday. Shop in-store or online now. Play more, pay less at Anaconda. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy and 21 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy 27. Sunday, sunny and 25. Then Monday, partly cloudy 23. Currently, it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here. Water is the key to maintaining a healthy garden. That's why I use Rich Grow Easy Wet Soil Soaker. It lets the water in and keeps the roots hydrated. Easy Wet is easy to use on lawns, gardens, pots and edibles, and its new granulated formula creates the Rich Grow effect for greener lawns and stronger, healthier plants. Grab some today and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Is your tech causing chaos? You need Geeks to You. Got a constantly crashing computer, weak Wi-Fi, problematic printer? Our fast and friendly Geeks are available to come to you. No fix, no fee, Geeks guarantee. Geeks to You, part of Officeworks.
Live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 9. Now, we had a full board for Feedback Friday this morning, but one of the would-be contestants just called in and said he's been called into an urgent meeting. And can't compete. So as it turns out, we've got one free spot for Feedback Friday. If you'd like to call through right now, 8223 000, you could win yourself $100 worth of Samtas seafood. Everyone who participates wins a prize. We're giving away Wallace passes, Lucy, this morning. Yes, we are. We've got Wallace passes for our other two contestants. 8223 000 is the number. Feedback Friday. There is a spare spot that's just opened up thanks to someone's workplace putting into place a pretty inopportune meeting time. Anyway, let's get into it.
feedback.
Who does that, by the way?
Friday today, so have yourself feedback.
Free 9 o'clock meeting, and you're about to be on Feedback Friday?
Yeah, meeting's at 8:30.
I reckon the Fair Work Commission might have something to say about that.
Yeah, isn't this sort of in the, what's it called?
Do not...
Right to disconnect
Right
laws?
to disconnect.
Are you meant to have connected by 8:30? Have a ring, make a call to the Fair Work Commission.
I think it's like called up to jury duty if you're on Feedback Friday too. It's like your civil duty.
Exactly. You can't welch on it.
Rocky in Dernancourt is on the line. Morning to you, Rocky.
Good morning, boys.
Rocky, Donald Trump spent 15 minutes working at McDonald's in Pennsylvania this week as part of his presidential campaign. What was your first job?
My first job was at Woolies.
What did you do at Woolies?
Serve, take shopping to the customers' cars and things like that.
Oh, look at you.
So you're on the checkout then, Rocky?
Never on the checkout, always in the storeroom unloading vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. It'll keep you in shape. Good physical work.
So we used to eat all the watermelon. We want a bit of watermelon, just make it fall on the ground and you could eat it those days. Not anymore.
Tip for new workers. Rocky, US heavy metal band Metallica have announced they're playing a concert at Adelaide Oval next November. Will you be buying a ticket to Metallica?
They're a little bit out of my range. I'm in my 70s, so they're a little bit after my time. Maybe if it was like Led Zeppelin or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of Black Sabbath too, Rocky?
Maybe, yeah.
Bit of War Pigs.
That era, yeah.
Rocky, the Premier spent all of yesterday off social media in support of the initiative Unplug 24. Do you think you could go 24 hours without engaging in any form of social media?
It's very hard these days, isn't it? Because everything is based around, everything is instantaneously, and I don't know, that would be a difficult one, I think. I think anybody would find that very difficult.
Are you a Facebook guy, Rocky?
No, no way.
Yeah, no. Waste of time.
Rocky, tomorrow we'll see the running of the 103rd Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. It was regarded as Australia's best horse race for quality. Do you bet on the Cox Plate?
I might have a bit of play.
It's legal, Rocky. You don't have to be coy about it.
That's right. It's more legal than stealing watermelons from Woolworths, that's for sure.
Thank you, Rocky. Let's go to Craig Moore. Dean, good morning.
Good morning. Off the interchange bench. Do me best work.
Oh, magnificent.
He's
the substitute vest.
Put on the vest.
One man's meeting is another man's opportunity. Dean, the Ausasia Festival kicked off at Elder Park last night, and again, the festival features more than 40 food choices at the festival. Do you have a go-to or favourite Asian food dish?
Actually, I went to that last year. Absolutely magnificent.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's hard to choose, you know. I just wanted everything, I think.
You haven't got a specific noodle dish that you go for, Dean? Are you a char kway teow guy or a Hokkien mee?
Well, I'm not all that good with my Mandarin, so I don't really know what it is. I just have to look at it.
Yeah,
you know,
fair enough. You're a visual guy, Dean.
I'm a visual guy, yeah.
Dean, there are calls for Lydia Thorpe to face consequences for her royal protest. Do you think her behaviour was out of line, or is it all part of her right to protest?
Absolute disgrace to her so-called people who came up and said that she's not representative of us, and she's a disgrace to Australia. She is absolutely out of line.
Dean, we got a text about this earlier, and in fact, congratulations to all the Year 12s that are turning up to school today for what is their final day before they head into swap vac and exams and so forth. So muck-up days are currently happening right around Adelaide and South Australia. Do you remember your last day of school, Dean?
It's a fair while ago, mate, to be brutally honest. Yeah, I'd probably rather not remember it if possible.
Okay. No, we don't want to have some sort of PTSD event on the air.
What's the statute of limitations anyway?
Yeah, well, it depends what you did, Dean.
Yeah, I know. Well, we did maybe have the commissioner on.
Maybe don't say anything, Dean.
Hey, bit of shaving cream at our school.
Was there?
Bit of that going on. Yep, Marion High back in the day, 85.
Dean, LeBron James playing for the Lakers and his son, Bronny, created history this week. They became the first father and son duo to play in an NBA game together. Would have you wanted to have played in the same sports team as your father?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would have loved it. Dad was a gun footballer. He played for Fitzroy in the VFL.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you inherit his skills, Dean? Were you handy?
I was handy, but girls and booze sort of,
That's derailed many a promising career, Dean. You're not alone there.
Exactly.
Good on you, Dean. Thank you.
You and your old man are like the LeBron Jameses of journalism in South Australia.
Do you mean in terms of one of them's an all-time great and the other one's exceedingly mediocre? Thank you.
No, that's not true.
Robert, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Robert, Live Golf tickets went on sale for February's tournament with expectations it's going to sell out again. To you, is playing golf a great activity, or as some would say, is it a good walk ruined?
Good walk ruined, I'd say. Particularly if I was playing.
Robert, there was some controversy this week. King Charles, Queen Camilla, driven in Sydney and Canberra in an Audi instead of the usual Bentley. If you're in charge of car selection for the Royals tour this week, which car would you choose?
Oh, Coles or Woolies? No. I would. Oh well, I guess for the King and Queen, yes, we should have had him in. What does Albo drive around in?
What are the Comcars? That's a good question.
Haven't they moved to hybrids?
I think they are hybrids.
Yeah. A Prius, perhaps.
That's what they should have been in.
I think the King wouldn't mind a hybrid. You'd have him
They
drive
could have
around
gone for a drive
in a
around
Hilux, wouldn't you?
his new house.
I reckon in honour of his late mum's visit to Elizabeth back in the 60s, it should have been whatever was the Holden car under production at the time, which was probably the HD, I reckon.
That would have been good. That would have been
an
excellent.
HD, maybe one's been jacked up a bit at the back with a blower on the bonnet. That would look really good.
Hey, Robert, this is a bit of a question about your own culinary skills. Egg retailers are now increasingly selling 10 packs of eggs instead of a dozen. What's the best egg dish you can make?
An omelette.
They're harder than they seem, though, aren't they, Rob?
Well, they're omelettes and they're omelettes.
Well, I've learned. I used to put onion and stuff in there, and I found it's actually better not putting onion in. It tastes better. And we were in the supermarket yesterday looking for those 10 eggs, and they were all sold out.
Maybe because they got a mention on AA.
Yeah, you guys must have some impact somewhere.
Moving product. It's what we do, Robert. Lastly, Lucy had to review Vacation this morning as her part of her movie review. Our listeners chose between Vacation and Risky Business. Which would have you chosen if it was just down to you?
Risky Business.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Fantastic and good music.
Yeah, really good music.
Good on you, Robert. Who do we like for the $100 Samtas seafood?
I reckon let's go with On Debut Rocky.
Rocky on debut. Did an excellent job.
The Samtas tray goes to Rocky. $100 worth of seafood from our great friends there at Samtas on Richmond Road. But Dean and Robert do not go home empty-handed.
Yep, well worth your time to be part of Feedback Friday. They both have the family pass to Wallace Cinemas coming their way. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more, including 4 pageant tickets, VIP Grandstand Christmas pageant tickets. It's only a week away. Your chance to win and get there is coming up right after the break. Traffic first, thanks to Keezer. Keezer Physiotherapy, Rehabilitation and Strength Training, building strength with precision at Keezer Nord.
At Gilberton, a smash on Walkerville Terrace near Stephen Terrace. In the hills at Lobethal, cars gone into a guardrail, Cutley Creek Road through there. Busy at Mile End for work, South Road near St Honor Rabbit Drive, and slow at Salisbury Downs, Kings Road near Andrew Smith Drive. Camera 2 this morning on Cabringa Valley Road at Verdun. Alinta Energy blend renewables with coal and gas to make your energy more affordable. That's True Power. Visit alintaenergy.com.au for more info. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Lads, where are we thinking for our same race multi?
Let's see. With Ladbrokes, we can place one at Doomben, Moonee Valley.
Bet on more tracks and race codes than ever before with the Ladbrokes Same Race Multi. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Chances are you're about to lose.
Next time you pour Fluorio milk into your coffee or tea, over your cereal or in your smoothie, you're closer to being an SA dairy farmer than you think. 100% of Fluorio Co milk comes from our state's best dairy farmers and their families. So when you buy any Fluorio milk product, you become part of that big family too, doing your bit to support our farming families. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
Sold by McGain again.
That's right, and because there's still limited homes available, it's really important to get along to these opens.
Tomorrow from 11 to 11:30am, Zoe Ball and Mike Doblin are opening 28 Jennifer Drive, Happy Valley. This impressive 4-bedroom family home has one of the best entertaining areas in Happy Valley. That'd be nice to lay claim to. Complete with a built-in barbecue, wood-fired pizza oven, oh please, a kitchenette plus roller shutters to keep the weather out. The home itself has been updated throughout, including a resort-style ensuite, 2 separate living areas, formal dining, study, workshop, plenty of off-street parking. Sounds like a dream, and just $879 to $899K.
You might be the happiest person in Happy Valley.
There's something else you can lay claim
if you
to.
bought that. Then on Sunday from 1 to 1:30, Zoe and Mike are opening 28 Berrin Road, Morfett Vale. Set on a large 840 square metre block, this original brick 3-bedroom home has huge potential, features 2 separate living areas, kitchen and meals area, patio entertaining, lock-up garage, $640 to $660K.
Take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at mcgain.com.au.
Duttons have been easy to do business with for 75 years. Clearly, people enjoy the experience. Just one quick trip up to the hills or onto Murray Bridge and you have 12 vehicle brands to choose from. Everything from Ford, GWM and Haval, to Hyundai, Isuzu Ute and LDV, to Mazda, Mitsubishi and Nissan, to Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. That's a whole lot of choice and much less running around. Duttons, Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. Duttons.com.au. LDV 90.
Duttons. Easy to do business with.
Hey guys, did you know Santa's on his way? And if you want a new camper in the driveway, you need to order today. So head down to your local showroom and check one out for yourself.
Austrac Campus.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 9, get calling now if you want to get to the Christmas pageant. 4 tickets we've got available in the VIP grandstand section, but you need to complete a Christmas carol, and Lucy's a tough taskmaster. I've had a listen. This is not easy again this morning.
Some traditional Swahili Christmas song?
No, it's you'll know the carol, but it's not easy. 82230000. You don't have to communicate with clicks.
Bushman of the Kalahari.
It will be English.
Sing the hits.
Get calling now.
There's an idea for obscure LP.
If you love your food, make sure you're listening to Stacey Lee today, just after 3 o'clock. She'll be joined by the excellent Chris Jarmer from Jarmer's Kitchen. Foodie Friday, thanks to Smeg and Powers. Building or renovating, your first choice. You'll be visiting the Smeg showroom at Demney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg and Powers.
Here's a text from Laurie that proves that the world makes absolutely no sense. It is an excellent text. Guys, I'm wondering if you have any more info regarding the student who was expelled from Blackfriars for burning another college school's blazer. How ironic that the 14-year-old involved in the Elizabeth Shopping Centre stabbing can return to school for 3 days a week, yet the lad involved in a harmless prank, which other students also took part in, cannot return to school forever. The education department stinks, and so does the college that banned this student. 100%. So you stab someone in broad daylight in front of hundreds of witnesses, you go to court, you've got no defence, you've done it, and they move heaven and earth to make sure your education is not interrupted. You're piss-farting around with a few of your mates after you've beaten your long-standing rivals for the first time in 8 years, kids being kids, things get a little bit out of hand, so they isolate 2 kids out of a huge number and kick them out of school. No questions asked. This is the dumbest thing I've seen all year.
Public v private, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but in the education department's case, it is the education department would probably have played some part in, making sure that this boy in the state school system can still get his education, despite having allegedly stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
But, right. We're tough on the protection of fabric, though, aren't we?
Well, yeah. There's a private entity making a bad decision compared to the state making a bad decision.
I met another Blackfriars parent the other day who just came up to me and he said, mate, I just want you to know a whole bunch of us have been talking about that case and we still can't believe that the school did it.
It's staggering.
Unchristian.
Yeah. Now, with hundreds of ways to save every day, it's better to be a member with RAA Rewards, who bring us the Fuel Watch situation this morning. Some good cheap spots. The Treasurer might be in the US talking about global headwinds and what it's going to mean for oil prices, but it hasn't materialised in Adelaide yet. The Ampol Seaford Road, Seaford Meadows, $1.54.9. Ex-Convenience Port Road, Hindmarsh is $1.55.5. So too the Ex-Convenience North East Road, Clemzig, and Ugo, South Road, St Mary's, UGO. Not familiar with that.
Hugo Sanchez.
I don't
Played
think,
for Mexico in the 80s. Fantastic.
I'm not familiar.
striker.
I don't know if he's gotten into the oil trade, but no, UGO.
Okay. No, wrong person.
The
Maybe it's Colasanti.
Could have been.
He was UGO.
Diesel at the ex-convenience Henley Beach Road, Brooklyn Park is $1.67.9. All right, let's get into the pageant theme, shall we? The Christmas pageant not too far away. You need to complete probably a very obscure and hard to answer. No.
The traditional Cambodian Christmas song.
Lucy likes to make you to work hard for this, and Karen in Paralawi is our first victim. Karen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good luck, Karen. You're going to need it.
I hope you have your forensic knowledge of carol lyrics. Come together and experience the magic of Christmas with the National Pharmacy's Christmas pageant, celebrating the official start of the festive season on Saturday, 2nd of November. Here we go. Complete this carol, Karen, and you're getting along to the pageant.
I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night. She didn't see me creep down the stairs to have a peek.
She thought that I was tucked up in my bedroom fast asleep.
Karen!
I was tucked up in my bedroom fast asleep.
Wow. Absolutely magnificent, Karen. That was just superb.
How did you even know that, Karen?
Because I'm old.
You don't sound old.
It helps.
You must love your carols.
I do like Christmas songs. There's songs and there's carols. That was more of a Christmas song. But yeah, I do like Christmassy stuff.
Have you got a favourite carol?
Christmas carol? Or if it's a carol, probably "O Come All Ye Faithful."
That's good. That's a good song.
Do you know what Karen has very subtly done? Is not only did she easily answer what we thought was a very difficult question, but she's poked a giant hole in our competition, during which we're confusing Christmas songs and carols in our Christmas
that's
verbiage.
True,
So, Karen, you are indeed the expert. You knew the lyrics, and you knew that we were getting it fundamentally wrong. So, thank you. You've got tickets, and you've put us on the path to righteousness, which is excellent. So, you, Karen, we need to get Karen on board as sort of an ambassadorial role, sort of a
sort it out.
Just come on board.
Just restore some much needed credibility to this sham competition.
I think that's exactly right.
Bill says Ugo or Ugo is a new servo. There's about 4 or 5 of them in Adelaide. And he says, I think they're all self-serve. No staff at all. You pay at the pump and you drive away when you're finished. How about that?
Oh, really?
And Rob Lehman, he's a funny
Come together and experience the magic of Christmas with the National Pharmacy's Christmas pageant, celebrating the official start of the festive season on Saturday, the 2nd of November.
One here. The funniest muck-up day prank I've seen was in Year 10, where the Year 12s at Blackwood High in 2002 filled up the biology room fish tanks with carp that they caught, especially for the occasion, down at Clayton Bay. See, the other day, someone tracked down the engineers who did the engineering students who dangled the car from the footbridge at Adelaide Uni back in the 60s, early 60s, wasn't it?
A classic moment.
Oh, it's so clever.
We got a meat tray to give away, and it's a meat tray that comes with a great story attached this morning as well. The original reason we did Meat Tray Friday was to shine a light on local butchers, and none perhaps needed it more than the great people at Sterling Variety Meats who watched their shop burned down as part of the Sterling Woolworths fire a year and 10 days ago. They're back up and operating, provided the meat tray this morning. They're now at Shop 6, 239 Wellington Road at Mount Barker. Who wins their excellent meat tray?
A lot of good entries, but we are going to give it today to Ange from Kidman Park.
Ange, you've won it. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. Enjoy the terrific weather. Stick around for Matt Pantelis, and we'll catch you Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team